and gentlemen, welcome to episode 117 of the It's Obvious podcast, which in fact is doubling as Ask IOG episode 5.
Oh, man.
A little strange. My name's Garrett Drake. I'm joined alongside Jacob Alka.
Good evening for us right now.
Yes, indeed. It is evening time, and sadly, Preston cannot join us because he has fallen ill. In fact, this is the second Ask IOG episode he's fallen ill and can't speak through a microphone, apparently.
That's unfortunate.
So I'm getting the hint that it may be a sign that he hates Ask IOG.
Oh, wow.
Or he is, in fact, just sick every time we try to do one.
Those are strong claims.
I think you and I have officially done more episodes than he has of this show.
Of the Ask IOG?
Yeah. Pretty sure he's missed 2 or 3 of them.
I think you're right, yeah.
Right.
Because, yeah.
I think he
has he ever been here for an actual one? Or is he always over Skype?
No, it's always over Skype just because in the middle of the week he can't get over here, which is understandable. But we wish him the best. We hope he feels better soon, of course. But the reason why this is a crossover episode, if you recall last week, if you heard episode 116, it's because I'm going to be out of town for PAX West this weekend. And
that's exciting.
Yes, it is exciting. I will be gone Thursday through Monday evening. I'll be in Seattle. So that's typically in all that time we would normally record an episode of the It's Obvious podcast, but obviously I will not be here. So in doing so, Jacob and I are kind of supplementing that with an Ask IOG episode in the middle of the week. It's actually, what's today, Tuesday?
Today, what?
Is today Monday or Tuesday?
Today is Tuesday.
Yeah, okay, so today's Tuesday, which even if we recorded a normal It's Obvious podcast episode, there's just not enough news that is kind of come about since we did the previous episode like 3 days ago. It's been more than
usual for the amount of time in between our last podcast and now, though.
There is, yeah. There's some decent stuff that we're going to discuss at the beginning. Like we said, this is a hybrid of the It's Obvious podcast and Ask IOG, so it'll be primarily community questions. That's what Ask IOG is. Fueled exclusively by community questions. And boy, do we have some doozies this evening.
We do. I've looked through them, and there's some pretty good ones, Garrett.
Oh, yeah. I'm quite thrilled. I've been anticipating doing the next episode for a while. So shout out to all of you who contributed to this episode and beyond. We have plenty more questions to come after this episode. But Jacob, tell me, how has your week been so far since the last time I saw you? I saw you Saturday, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been draining and frustrating.
I don't like the sound of that. Why is that?
No, Sunday was fine. You know, Sunday's like the one day of the week where I do absolutely nothing. And, you know, I make sure most of the time not to do anything because I like having that one day just to do absolutely nothing.
Certainly.
And usually that entails like, you know, watching TV or watching shows I need to catch up on or going to eat somewhere. I usually go get fast food somewhere that day. And, you know, maybe I'll go to the pool that day but most of the time I just play video games, which, I get most of my video game playing done on Sundays.
Great.
Which is great. So, I played a lot of Overwatch on Sunday. It was nice.
What level are you now?
21 or 2.
Okay.
Really close.
Working your way up there.
Not sure if I'll get there before Destiny 2 hits, and when that hits...
goodbye Overwatch for a while.
Overwatch. So, yeah, I mean, everyone knows that I'm really excited for Destiny 2. But what's been frustrating this week is that I've been trying to download Destiny 2 on the PC for I guess it's the open beta now, and it's taken over 24 hours to download.
Right. That is like old school dial-up speeds.
Yeah. It's funny because my household has, AT&T fiber, which is, it's really, really great internet. But
it's incredibly swift.
Right. But for whatever reason, I don't know what it is. My PC has horrible download speeds. I don't know if it's my wireless adapter or if it's an internal problem or I don't know. I mean, the problem is I can't hook an Ethernet cable into my computer because it is literally on the opposite side of the house.
Right.
And I would literally be running a cord like across the balcony. I guess it's a balcony. What are those things that you walk across in a house?
Yeah, balcony.
It's a balcony.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but yeah, it would be ridiculous how far I'd have to run a cord. And I don't think my mom would like I live at my parents' house, for those who don't know.
I do the
same.
My
parents wouldn't like that.
No, my parents would hate that too.
Plus, I have autistic brothers, and there's no telling what they'll do with a cord just laying out and about.
Yeah, it could be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, that's not an option for me, right now, at least. But that's been frustrating. I'm trying to work with my dad to maybe figure out what the problem is. But if you have any ideas in the comments, let me know. I'm currently at like 2.5 download speed. Man, it's so bad. But hopefully it'll finish tonight and I can actually jump in and give the beta a shot before it ends.
Absolutely. So you don't have a box in your house that enables you to route the internet to different rooms, like, typically rooms, for example, I have an Ethernet port down there.
The only Ethernet port in our house, I think, is in my parents' room.
Man, that's the only one.
I think so.
What year was your house built in, do you know?
I moved in there when I was in 8th grade, and that was the year it was built.
Okay.
So what year is that?
20 or that's 2005 or 6, because 2007 was freshman year of high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll say like 2006 or so.
Okay. Maybe it was just your parents' decisions when they had this house designed. Maybe they thought they would only need that one port. Because ours, for example, was built a few years before your house, and ours has Ethernet ports all over the place. So someone may have told my parents, hey, in the future, you're going to want some more ports to route your internet around the house. That's the future.
Right.
Maybe that was the conversation they had while building the house. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful we have that, because thankfully I have a wired connection to my PC, and that enabled me to download it pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
And I can't even imagine.
So you have one in like every room, basically?
Not every room, but most rooms. But I can't even imagine if you had wireless connection to your fiber internet, Jacob, you would download things in literally a blink of an eye.
I bet.
For comparison.
You mean wired?
Yeah, wired, yeah. Just for comparison, at my house, when I upload a podcast, for example, when I upload this podcast, it will take just under an hour to upload, which isn't terrible. I've had way worse upload and download speeds in the past. But when I go to your house,
what it would be if you had Wi-Fi.
Oh, exactly. Well, yeah, that's what I use as Wi-Fi to upload the podcast. I mean, I could plug in, but it's just I'm kind of lazy about it.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, I always upload via Wi-Fi. I have an adapter to plug in. It goes like from Ethernet to Thunderbolt into the computer, which creates a wired connection. But
Gotcha.
I'm not in that much of a hurry when I upload it, so I just let it do its thing. Yeah. But for comparison's sake, there was that one time where the podcast was going to be incredibly late unless I came to your house to upload because my internet was having issues. So I'm like, Jacob, you mind if I come over and just upload at your house real quick? Mm-hmm. And what normally takes an hour to upload at my house took less than 5 minutes at your house. Oh, and that's over Wi-Fi. So imagine a wired connection. Yeah, it's insane. I'm very jealous of your internet, but it's a shame that it's failing I can't take advantage to download Destiny 2.
It's funny, like I get on my my iMac, and I can download anything in no time at all. But my arguably more powerful PC, well, it's not arguably, it is more powerful than my Mac.
So it must be that wireless adapter.
I think so.
That has to be it.
I mean, I don't know the logistics of USB slots, but I only have one USB 3.0 port in my computer, and it doesn't work.
Really?
Yeah. It's my mother. I guess when I bought the motherboard, it had a faulty USB in it.
That sucks.
It's really frustrating because it's the only one in there that doesn't work. And my adapter has the little blue chip in it. It's meant to be plugged in a USB 3.0. Yeah. So I don't know if that's maybe affecting it.
That could be it.
Because I currently have it in a 2.0 slot.
That sounds like it could be the main problem.
And all the ones in the back of my computer are 2.0s. So
yikes.
Because they're just meant for, like external connections. Right. They're not meant for internet or anything. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, dude.
Man, that's such
I'm just hoping me and my dad can, kind of nail down the problem.
Yeah. Well, how you downloaded Overwatch pretty quickly, didn't you?
No.
Did you just install that because you bought it, right?
All of my downloads have been ridiculously long.
Man, that sucks.
Like they've all taken a day.
I'm sorry, Jacob. Yeah. I hope that's resolved soon.
I do too. I mean, arguably, I don't need to resolve it until like Destiny 2 comes out. I'm not really going to buy anything else on PC until then. So,
man, if you're just downloading the beta and it's taking that long, imagine the full game.
Mm-hmm.
You could be playing it a week after launch. I mean, that's on PC.
15 gigs is the beta, and it's taken over a day. So. What if I don't know how big the actual Destiny 2 game is?
Right, so I don't know.
I imagine
there's a lot packed in there.
Yeah, I imagine it's around 30 maybe.
Potentially.
At least.
Yeah. So. I guess time will tell, Jacob.
Yep.
But speaking of Destiny, I have gotten my hands on the Destiny 2 PC beta. As is Preston. We played together last night. And boy, let me tell you, I think I say this in the Let's Play that's currently on our channel as well as when this podcast goes live. I'm reassessing where I'm going to play the game predominantly.
No, I am too. Not even played it yet.
I may predominantly play on PC, and I don't mean to say that I won't play on PS4 at all. Because I'm going to play through the entire story on PS4. I'm going to play a ton of multiplayer. I'm going to do literally everything you can do at launch in Destiny 2 on PS4. Mm-hmm. But I think I will transition when the PC launch occurs, I'm going to transition and end up playing predominantly on PC, because not only is that high frame rate just glorious in Destiny, not only is
how many frames were you playing at?
I think it was locked at 60 when I was playing.
I think you can unlock it.
I think you can.
I know you can, yeah.
As I went into the settings, but I didn't dabble in it too much. But even just running at 60 frames is something I've always wanted to experience in Destiny.
You should run it uncapped and see just what it is naturally.
I want to try it.
And you can, adjust your settings accordingly.
Right.
Because I know there's several settings that you don't need to have on. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but locked, it feels incredible.
Mm-hmm. Even just like 30 more frames, I'm sure is incredible.
Yeah. And the shooting mechanics already feel phenomenal on PS4, but it's funny because sometimes aim assist I feel like weakens your shot, because let's say, I'm sure this happens to a million people. Let's say you're shooting at like another character or an NPC of some sort, and then another NPC or character crosses that threshold. Your gun like automatically tries to glue to them.
Frustrating.
And it can throw off your shot. Now, I'm not complaining about that, because at the end of the day, I'm still far more skilled on a controller than I am a mouse and keyboard. But to have that lack of aim assist and the control of your whole hand on the mouse, it literally feels like there's no recoil in your weapons whatsoever. Yeah. I mean, you feel dead accurate every time you fire, whether it's a hand cannon or a pulse rifle or an assault rifle. You just feel very accurate with it. Of course, I'm still getting used to the mouse and keyboard. I'm not perfect, but it does feel so good. And it looks amazing too. Like I said, the high frame rate and the performance of all of it is awesome. Exact same stuff that's in the PS4 beta, with the exception of the control map is on a different map called Javelin 4 or something. Yeah. Javelin 4. I think that's what it's called.
Isn't it on IO?
It might have been. I didn't look at the little description of the map when it was loading in, but maybe it's on IO. I don't know.
If my memory, it's not failing me, then it's IO.
Okay. Yeah, very symmetrical map for control. It's pretty good. I've only won one match there. I've lost every other match. Wow. Well, that's not to say I've been performing poorly.
How many matches have you played?
On that map specifically, I think I played 8 or 9. Okay. And I've lost all of them but one.
Jeez.
And I barely won the one. I think I won 75-72 the match I won. So that's not this. I've had some terrible matches, sure, but I've been performing quite well, and I'm proud of myself in both Siege and Destiny. I've been able to play very well. But in Lawbreakers, I'm okay. Quake, I get my ass kicked for the most part. I've had my highlight moments in there as well, but the faster the gameplay, the worse I am at mouse and keyboard. So
that's kind of understandable, though.
Yeah, but slowing things down, I'm a little bit like Destiny is not necessarily a very fast-paced game. It's definitely quicker than Overwatch per se, but it's not like lightning fast like Lawbreakers or Quake. So performed pretty decently. I had some fun gameplay. Those of you that have seen the Let's Play, I hope you guys enjoyed the Let's Plays. I had fun shooting it, and unfortunately, Preston was unable to join me for that gameplay because we started playing on PC together and lost every match we played, and then he had to leave. I was like, crap, now I have to do it by myself. And of course, as soon as he left, I won the first match. But
there you go.
It was still a blast, and I cannot wait to play more of it, and I'm pumped for the full PC release.
Yeah.
But never fear those who are playing on PS4, because you will see plenty of me on PS4 and Destiny 2.
Maybe not when the PC comes out, the PC version, but
we'll see.
Up until then.
I'll be jumping between the two at least. I'm definitely going to play Titan on PC because I love my Hunter on PS4. Going to import him into Destiny 2 and continue his journey.
Did you play Hunter on the PC beta?
I played Titan.
There you go. Yeah. You're finally trying something new.
I did, and it took me a bit to get used to the mobility of the Titan, especially the jumping.
Did you use the directional one? Because there's different kinds of jumps.
I didn't adjust his subclass at all.
If you use the directional one and you just like press it once and you press it again really quick, you can like glide really quickly. It's nice.
Okay, that's nice.
I would say the Titan has the fastest, horizontal movement.
Okay. I think I know what you mean, because I've had Titans just fly at me and destroy me with a melee attack. Yeah. That's probably what they're doing.
And the Hunter's got that little dinky dodge.
Yeah. Yeah, the Hunter's... I have some things to say about the Hunter in my full review of Destiny 2, which I've been working on today, actually. Which has been
positive or negative things?
It's predominantly positive, yes. Okay. I mean, obviously, I can't really give away everything.
No, I meant the Hunter.
My thoughts on the Hunter?
Yeah,
it's actually... I can't say this based on my impressions, because it has to do with... actually, I don't know if I can say specifics. I mean, people know about the classes of each... I mean, we've played the beta. We can say whatever we want about these characters. Just kidding. There's a lot more that goes into it as you play through the whole game. But the Hunter, I would say, is probably the most... At least his new subclass is the most lackluster of the three. I mean, I think that Dawnblade and...
that's the thing, though. I think it's the coolest.
Yeah, that's
aesthetically.
I think I say that, like, aesthetically, he looks like a total badass, but in comparison to Sentinel, the Titan Sentinel and Warlock's Dawnblade, I just feel like he brings the least... He's not as fresh as the other two, I should say.
The problem with the Super iPhone is that it's just slow. Like it's not like Blade Dancer in Destiny 1 where you like can fling all over the place. Like you swing, you pause, then you can't move once you swing after. So you just you're like open for fire. It's like, what do you do?
Right.
If you swing again, you pause again after you swing. It's not nearly as fast to be effective, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a cluster of people, it's really powerful. And I also love...
If you can close that gap, it's incredible. But it's a matter of closing the gap.
Yeah, I love leaping with the hunter and when you're doing Arc Strider and smashing down and doing that shockwave. That's
Have
really
you learned
effective.
the combo? I don't know if you've played a lot of what is it, Arc Strider? Is that the new class?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've played a lot, but there's like a combo you can do that looks really cool.
Yeah.
I never figured it out.
I mean, I messed around with a lot of just whether I was leaping and smashing or just dancing around with the arc staff, I think it's called. But I mean, he's fun to use, but I just think his dodge ability is cool, but it's mostly useless. Like you can either, dodge and automatically reload your weapon.
The reload thing's cool.
Or dodge and re-energize your melee ability.
Yeah. But I mean, the Titan does that too by just using the smaller barrier. I think if you duck behind it, you automatically reload your weapon.
That's nice. I didn't know that.
So it kind of makes the Hunter one obsolete if you think about it, because the Titan has protection and that reload.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, they're all cool, but I feel like the Hunter was the weakest
we're kind of
as far as a new edition. Yeah, it really is a nitpick. But speaking of Destiny, I forgot to mention during my initial Seattle trip for the Destiny 2 preview event, I got to tour Bungie, and the tour was led by Deej, of course, and it was awesome seeing their studio in action because they're obviously or at least at the time, we're in the final days of developing Destiny 2, and a few things left to tweak. I think they told us when we played the version that I played, it was about 95% there, so they had a few things left to adjust. But to see their entire staff hard at work on this massive floor was just fascinating. Because, I mean, you see developer diaries and stuff, you have an idea of what it's like to see them in action, but to see all of them at once just doing this giant game.
Were you looking down upon them?
Yeah, we went up into this like conference room and looked down upon the entire floor. So he pointed out like, this section of desks do these things, and these people over here do these things. And I mean, I try to describe what it's like walking in there. So you walk in, and there's just this giant open space, and to your left is a massive staircase that leads up to specific offices for different things. But out in the open floor, on the bottom floor, is a giant, to your right is a giant line of PS4s and monitors, where that's like their social space, where the entire staff will just go play the game if they need to blow off some steam or just need to kill time. Because he said, I think Deej said, of course we're developers of this game, but we also want to be fans of our own game. So not only do they of course develop it, but they all play it together to see if like, do we even enjoy this? Like, what do we need to change? Which is cool. And to your left is a giant kitchen area of every snack and a treat you could ever imagine. It's huge. It's one of the biggest kitchen areas I've ever seen. It resides underneath this giant balcony where the staircase leads. But I thought one of the coolest aspects of the kitchen area was there's these multiple screens up on the wall, and most of them show people who are currently streaming Destiny or YouTube highlight reels of people playing Destiny, and they constantly have that in a loop to see who people enjoy watching and what people enjoy about the games and everything. It's just kind of how they gather like community interest for their games and stuff.
Did you see anyone you recognized?
No, because we just very quickly passed by it. But I thought it was cool that if you're streaming Destiny, if anyone's streaming Destiny, you could potentially be on in the Bungie headquarters.
You don't even know it.
and you can be in action there, which is cool. And there's another screen that shows a constant flow chart that's live of like the popularity of Destiny and how many people are playing, and it's constantly flowing. And he says every now and then, like the numbers are typically pretty good, but every now and then it'll dip so low that they kind of panic. And he said sometimes if you tweet about something Destiny related, or I think it's mostly a tweet or something they put out, it like very slowly will bring it back up again and people will start playing again.
I wonder like what's the lowest it's ever been.
Yeah, I was wondering that.
Like at one time.
He says it's rare, but they keep that there for that specific reason, just to see how many people are playing and stuff.
I'm sure it's relatively high right now because people are excited.
Yeah, definitely. And he says, of course, they have information that constantly refreshes of the most popular weapons, the most popular game types, and armor pieces and stuff, so they know how to capitalize on what they have.
Yeah, I know they track all that stuff because, in their This Week at Bungie's, sometimes they talk about like, they're balancing, and, they talk about what people are using, what like what weapons, what subclasses, and stuff like that. So.
Right. Yeah, the studio itself is just designed. It looks very sleek and very modern. And of course, they have a giant Master Chief statue when you walk in the door. I mean, there's Master Chief everywhere, but there's also a bunch of Destiny stuff. Like all along the staircase and up into the upper levels is, what's that red stuff called from?
Siva.
Yeah, the Siva is just like crawling all over the place, which is cool.
Awesome, dude.
And there's a giant fallen statue in one hallway that's just very intimidating because he's so huge. Mm-hmm. But the whole place is themed about their games, which is awesome. Yes. And it's the funniest thing because I was in an interview with a couple of other media people for the story, and we were late getting out of it. And they're taking all the media people in groups to tour Bungie. I think they did like 3 or 4 groups, and our group left like 10 minutes before we got out of our interview. So we're like, dude, we just need to walk over there. I don't want to miss the tour. So we GPS Bungie Studios, and it's literally within walking distance. It says it's right across the street. So we get across the street, and there's just this big strip mall. I don't see Bungie anywhere. I'm like, what is this place?
Isn't
it
on top of something?
It is. It's on an upper level of a strip mall right next to like a gym.
So interesting.
Like an Anytime Fitness or something. Yeah. So you go up there, and it's not advertised at all. It's literally in a deep corner of the strip mall. And you go over there, and I realize there's these big glass windows, and you can barely see in there. They're tinted. And we peek in there, and you can see Luke Smith is talking to a guy like right inside. And like everyone's like already starting to move upstairs. We see our group, and there's this big guy sitting at a desk like waiting to unlock doors for people. So we just like hold up our media badges, and he like waves at us and like lets us in. So I'm glad we walked over there.
We would just stared at you.
Right, like leave. Those could be fake.
I would have been so disappointed.
Yeah, I would have been bummed on.
Second to Blizzard, Bungie would be the place I'd want to tour.
Yeah, it was super cool when he let us in, and we caught up with the group and got to see everything. But I mean, the coolest thing I took away from it was seeing everyone do different things. Like I saw a guy just some kind of camera flying through a map that I didn't recognize in Destiny doing something, and another guy rotating a character that was like half built and everything. Mm-hmm. It was the coolest thing just to see all the different sections working together. Yeah. And of course, they're in crunch time, like finishing up the game. Right. But it was just an awesome experience. That's something I left out of my Seattle trip. I forgot to mention.
Yeah. It's funny because I thought you had said that, but I guess it's just me and you talking.
Yeah, I totally forgot about it. I mean, I had told you guys previously, but I didn't mention it on the podcast. So
it was nice hearing it again, though.
Yeah, I was very thankful to do that, and I hope for opportunities like that in the future. And also just, I mean, everyone has seen developer diaries, but especially touring a studio and seeing them in person. It's like you really do have a respect for these people that just pour their heart and soul, for the most part, into these games and just like work tirelessly to get them out on time. It's just, I can't even imagine what that's like. Mm-hmm. So it was an awesome experience.
Yeah, I bet.
Now, Jacob, we're slowly moving into the Ask IOG portion of this episode.
Okay.
And before we do so, there's a bit of news that was brought up again by Mr. Rowan Cross of the community that I'm going to reiterate here. It has to do with the Game of Thrones Bethesda Game Studios rumor.
Wow.
Rowan says, hey, rumors are that Bethesda is creating a Game of Thrones RPG. What do you think about this?
What do I think?
Yes.
I think, if true, there's no guarantee, of course, that I would probably just poop.
I was going to say poop? I'd poop.
I don't know where I'd poop. I don't know how.
You could poop in my hands.
I don't know how violently it would be, but,
we could poop together.
We could. And I would be so excited.
As would I.
In short.
It was interesting because it seemed like this information leaked during the finale of Game of Thrones Season 7 we're in, right?
Yeah.
Or shortly thereafter, it seemed, which may have been intentional. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know why you would just leak something versus just announcing it if it was true or not. But
or maybe
it was just coincidence. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've heard different rumors. I've heard the headline that just says literally Game of Thrones Bethesda, and I've heard other people going, "Oh, it's an RPG." I don't know how people would know that. Maybe people are just hoping that's what it is. Mm-hmm. Of course, that's what I hope it is. Because the world of Westeros is fascinating to me. Mm-hmm. I love it, especially coming off of Season 7. I know a lot of people surprisingly hated Season 7, but I loved it. Yeah. I adored it, man.
It might be my favorite season. It
was easily the most action-packed and entertaining season. And I can understand complaints from a lot of people, but for me personally, I loved it. And I can see past all of its, to me, minor faults.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just my favorite because of like everything that I want to happen is happening. So it's just exciting to me.
Mm-hmm. I can't even imagine what the final season is going to be like.
Yeah. Isn't it kind of interesting how, I know we're kind of off topic, not talking about the game, but it's interesting how the show has kind of changed over time. Like you used to never know what was going to happen. Like, don't cling on to a character because they're not going to last. But now it's gotten to a point where everyone's so important that you don't really see anyone die or anything anymore.
I've heard a rumor floating around that main character is going to start dropping quickly in the final season.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Especially with limited episodes.
All these people cannot be alive in the end.
Yeah, and I know the episodes are going to be longer than normal.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially, they're all going to be movies in a way.
Yeah,
that's like feature length, which is awesome. But we'll see. Of course, I'm still rooting for Jon Snow. And this, I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it. But as we know him still, Jon Snow, rooting for him always. Ever since Robb Stark was killed, Jon Snow was my man.
Poor Robb.
And I'm not against Daenerys either. I mean, she's pretty awesome.
I was a big fan of the King of the North, but
as was I.
Unfortunately,
that was the first, like, of course, for everyone, that was the first real shocking moment. That was like, what kind of show?
I couldn't believe what had happened. Like, I thought for sure he was like going to be the good guy in the story.
I couldn't believe it. I cannot wait to rewatch the entire show once it all wraps up. That's going to be such a journey. It's like watching Lord of the Rings, but like 4 times as long.
Yeah,
if not longer.
See, I don't even know what I like more anymore, Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings. I never thought anything would beat Lord of the Rings. Because Lord of the Rings,
I don't know if it's fair to compare the two.
To me, Lord of the Rings is almost perfect.
Right.
So,
I think it's hard because Game of Thrones is very, I mean, so is Lord of the Rings, but very character based about relationships and motivations and the different factions of the world and how they all collide and everything. And of course, characters dropping left and right for the most part. And Lord of the Rings in a lot of ways is similar, but also different. Yeah. Hard to compare the two, but I can't wait to rewatch it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But in terms of the game, if this is true, let's pretend this is a world where this has been announced. It's true. What is it to you? What do you want it to be?
What does this game look like?
Yeah.
As everyone knows, I'm not a huge Bethesda fan in general, but, you know, and having that said, I would like them to maybe break away from the formula that they use. And by that, I mean, like, the first person, you know how Bethesda games play, like Skyrim or Fallout. Like, you know, I'm a big third person story driven kind of guy. So I would like there to maybe be a story revolving around a character in Westeros, maybe a character that's in the movie, or not movies, the show, or maybe just a brand new character. I don't know. But I don't want it to be like, you know, hack and slash. Oh, here's my shield, you know, spell. Like, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
That's like the main thing for me.
Okay.
Because I love Game of Thrones so much, so I want this to be, if it's true,
just more than an Elder Scrolls reskin.
Right, yeah. Not to say that Elder Scrolls is bad, because I think it's one of the best games ever made. But, you know, that's kind of what I want.
Okay. I'm in a similar boat as you. Of course, I love Oblivion. I love Skyrim. I mean, Elder Scrolls is fantastic, but I don't think it would make sense for them. I mean, it would literally be an Elder Scrolls game with a Game of Thrones theme if they made it with their current formula or designed it with their current formula in mind. So I have no idea what they're doing, but I recall Todd Howard saying in an interview that the projects they're doing prior to their Skyrim follow-up are even bigger than anything they've done before. I think they're doing 2 projects before the next Elder Scrolls, if I'm not mistaken, assuming that this is one of them.
Yeah. Another reason to not be like Skyrim is, you know, to break away from that formula. I feel like if they just keep making the same kind of games that all kind of play the same or look the same, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it's going to be hard to make like something like this stand out from Skyrim, because they're basically the same genre.
Exactly.
And if they look the same too. I mean, not like visually look the same, but play the same.
Especially coming off of The Witcher 3, where that rises so far above. And don't get me wrong, Skyrim's awesome in its own way, but as far as the open world medieval RPG is concerned, The Witcher 3, I believe, has set the modern bar for what you should get out of a game like that. So I don't know if they've taken that into consideration. I don't know. I mean, there's literally, it could be anything for all we know. It could be, I mean, it won't be like
it's just fun to speculate, though.
But if I had any wishes, it would be that, I mean, of course, I want those Elder Scrolls like qualities, you know, like with the I mean, if it is open world, maybe it won't be. I mean, you never know what to expect with Bethesda, because they do a lot of the same things, like you said. I mean, it works in their favor, but moving forward, I think they've probably realized they have to at least branch out a little bit. So of course, I want to explore Westeros at my own free will.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mean, the loot is, of course, I want to loot things in Westeros as well, but will it be the same as Elder Scrolls? I don't know. Combat, that's the biggest question, is like, what would the combat be like? Are they going to keep that classic I mean, you can do third or first person in Elder Scrolls, but it's not very deep. It's very much a hack and slash type of game.
Let me ask you this. Would you like it to be more like Skyrim where you can kind of, I want to use swords. I want to use maybe a two-hand axe. I want to use magic. Or would you rather it be like, it's like Geralt. He uses a sword. That's his weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want a character that's defined and has a weapon or how they fight to be already defined for you? Or do you want to kind of...
It could be kind of an amalgamation of different things. Like, let's say they have an established character. You don't necessarily create a character, but it's a new character in this lore. Okay. And you can choose which path he follows. Is he going to be a swordsman? Is he going to wield a bow? Is he going to do like a hybrid of the two?
Yeah. Let's say it's like, theoretically, like maybe you're a young lad and maybe someone's like assassinates your father. He's like the king, kind of like Ned Stark. Sorry, spoilers. If you haven't watched season 1, that's your fault at this point. But I forgot where I was going with that.
I mean, I always, in any game, I always love creating my character. Mm-hmm. I'm not opposed to playing a preset character, but I always like creating my own. So I don't know. I mean, think about how easily the game plays itself out, though. You can join the Faceless Men, kind of like the Dark Brotherhood from Skyrim, but it's the Faceless Men. Mm-hmm. You can join different armies. You can go to the Night's Watch. I don't know why you would want to do that, but you can go there.
You can be a Dothraki.
You can go beyond the wall and find like higher level gear, perhaps. I don't know if you explore in that area. I mean, there's so many different places to explore, so many different characters to interact with, so many different factions of people, so many cities to explore.
Yeah.
Like, of course, Winterfell and King's Landing and such. Yeah. So, I don't know. There's a lot to speculate, but I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts in the comments below because these are my very generic thoughts.
Yeah. What would your Game of Thrones game look like?
I'd like them to try a third-person approach.
No, I mean people in the comments, not you.
Okay, because I was going to say, the only other thing I had to add is that maybe completely go away from first person for the first time in a while. It's just go third person, Witcher style.
I mean, that's what I want. But, they don't make games for me in particular.
Right. Yeah, but everyone, please share your thoughts down below. And maybe your thoughts go much deeper than mine and Jacob's, because that's about all I have, is because we have nothing to go off of. But we'll see. Time will tell, Jacob.
I'm ready to get into these questions. How about you?
Let's do it. This is where Ask IOG truly begins. Hope you guys are ready for this one. First question comes from Sam Harris.
Oh, he's back.
He is. He's always back. He says, back. Back. Get back. Or stay back. What's that? Which movie is that from again? I know it's Harry Potter.
Stay back.
Yeah, which one specifically?
I
get them all mixed up at this point. They all bleed into one.
I don't know.
Me neither. Sam Harris says.
I just know someone says it like that.
He says, hey, dudes. What is y'all's favorite comedy movie? My top 3 are Tommy Boy, Happy Gilmore, and Christmas Vacation.
Hold on, I'm still trying to think of what it's from. It's is it Get Back to the Pokey? Is that it?
Oh, I know he says fight back to Snape when Snape...
Fight back!
Yeah, when Snape's walking away from him at Hogwarts.
You coward, fight back.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
I don't think that's it.
I don't know. Okay. I've lost interest at this point.
I'm never gonna figure it out.
So Sam Harris has good taste in comedy films.
He does.
He likes Tommy Boy, Happy Gilmore, and Christmas Vacation. All 3 of those I'm a huge fan of. Tommy Boy's definitely up there for me. Speaking of Tommy Boy, I had a Tommy Boy moment on I actually posted it on my Instagram account. I had a moment in my final for Color Theory. There's this very complicated art question about which artist did this thing at this time and blah, 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 blah. I literally had no idea. I could have said anyone. And of course, I did that moment from Tommy Boy where he's like, that's Herbie Hancock. He fills in the blank. It's like blank Hancock. I think it's supposed to be John Hancock, but he puts in Herbie. So my answer was Herbie Hancock.
Nice.
On my
what if your teacher got a giggle out of that?
Oh, it's funny because I was the last person to take it because I was gone for the final. I was in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
So he let me take it late and miraculously didn't take any points off for that. I have no idea why. Because normally, I mean, there's people that missed our first quiz and he's like, since you're taking it late, you lose 10 points. Yeah. But maybe he just has a crush on me or something. I don't know.
Maybe. You are a good looking man.
I date. I'm sure. Why not?
Yeah. Well, you're dating me, so.
Sorry, Jacob.
Only one at a time.
I'm not trying to fluster you or anything.
Yeah, you're doing a good job of it.
Sorry, man. Well, anyway. I got to sit with him while he graded my test, which was interesting. So we get to the very end of my test, and he goes, I don't know where you got this answer here, Herbie Hancock. He's like, it's actually so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, I had no idea. I'm like, but do you get the joke? And he goes, no, I don't think I do. I was like, have you seen Tommy Boy? And he looks at me blankly for like 10 whole seconds. And he goes, oh yeah, I get it now. I was like, yeah, that scene's hilarious from Tommy Boy. I don't think he actually got it. He might have just been playing along. Yeah. But no, he did not get the joke.
No, he did not.
But hey, it humored me when I put that as my answer.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore. I mean, I love not all of them, but all of Adam Sandler's older films like Waterboy, Happy Gilmore. I can't even remember the names all of a sudden. What's the one where he goes back to school? It's another name of a character.
It's not Happy Gilmore?
No.
Or is that the golf one?
Happy Gilmore's golf.
That is Billy Madison.
Billy Madison, that's what it is. It's a classic as well. One. I mean, he has so many good ones.
I think Billy Madison. No, Happy Gilmore is my favorite Adam Sandler.
I think that's my favorite too. So many good moments.
You want to know my top three? Or have you said your top three?
I haven't said mine yet.
You should say yours.
Okay. Well, also Christmas Vacation, I watched that. I know Preston's family does the same thing. We watch that every single year on Christmas Eve.
See, I usually watch that one up, like leading up to Christmas. Mm-hmm. What we always watch is The Christmas Story, which is what everyone watches.
That's a classic as well.
But also Elf.
Elf is great. I actually convinced my parents to switch it up this year because we had watched Christmas Vacation not too long before Christmas Eve. It's like, I know it's tradition, but I've seen this movie so many times and I do love it, but let's switch it up for once. So we watched
That's the thing.
Elf
I think
instead.
it's just an okay movie. I don't think Christmas Story. Oh, sorry, you're not talking about Christmas Story.
No.
Christmas Vacation's good. I think the Christmas Story is just okay.
Mm-hmm. So we watched Elf this year instead. I hadn't seen Elf in a couple of years. And of course, that's also a Christmas classic these days. So my top three favorite comedy movies are Spinal Tap.
Oh, yeah.
Or This Is Spinal Tap.
That's your favorite comedy?
It's in my top three. That is by far one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life because I love mockumentaries and just seeing like a 80s rock and roll mockumentary is just absolutely hilarious. If you guys haven't seen This Is Spinal Tap, please watch it. I'm sure you will enjoy it. My second favorite comedy movie is Dumb and Dumber. The original. It's a classic. I can practically quote that entire movie. Easily one of my favorites. Some of Jim Carrey's best work. And lastly, it is Hot Rod. It's my third favorite comedy movie.
I forgot about that.
It's another great one.
Indeed.
So those are my top three.
My top three are Dumb and Dumber. One of the best movies ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah. Let me guess another one. Anchorman.
No. It was almost in my top three.
That's one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah, same here. Number two is can I do the whole series of something?
Sure.
Austin Powers.
Okay.
I love
those are great.
Love those movies. They're arguably my favorites. The first two are kind of right up there together. Then the third one I went with Wedding Crashers. I would say that's a comedy, wouldn't you?
It's a great one too. That has Owen Wilson and what's his name?
No, it's not Jeff Daniels. It's
he was in True Detective season 2.
I know his name.
He's in so many things. 4 Christmases. Dodgeball.
Where's my phone?
Plays Peter LaFleur. Dodgeball's another honorable mention. That movie's hilarious.
I can't believe I can't remember his name.
Another shout out to What We Do in the Shadows. It's a more recent film, but actually one of the guys who stars in that movie, I think he directs it as well as directing Thor Ragnarok. Forgot his name as well. That movie's awesome.
Yes. Hold on. Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn, that's his name. Phenomenal actor.
Sorry, Vince.
I think he'll get over it.
Yeah. I know he listens.
Yeah. I mean, I could name so many funny movies that I love, but those are my top ones for sure. I mean, Step Brothers is another honorable mention. I think that's good.
Anything Will Ferrell's in is generally pretty funny.
You know what's a really underrated movie is The Other Guys.
I have not seen The Other Guys.
That movie is so funny.
Isn't that one came out like early 2000s, right?
Not too early. I saw it when we were in high school. I was like, I think we were sophomores in high school.
Else. Who's in that movie?
That was Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell when they play cops.
Oh yeah, that's not what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of a movie early in Will Ferrell's career. What was it?
Dude, I don't know.
I can't remember. Let's move on.
Yeah. No, I could talk about that all day, but those are definitely my top ones. Durkham11 says, question that's plagued my heart since I started listening fall of last year. Who is really Sam Harris? Is it Garrett just doing what he does best? The questions are really good and y'all definitely are on point when answering. Don't worry, your secret is safe with me. So Durkham thinks Sam Harris is a myth, a legend. Durkham, you submitted your question on Discord, so I know you've seen Sam Harris on Discord, but I think Sam Harris goes by The Flash on Discord. So if you see The Flash posting anything, that is Sam Harris.
Yes.
And yes, Sam Harris is a legend. He's been sending us questions for a long time, as have many of you.
Yes.
But Sam Harris is a real person.
He's also on the Thought Patrol podcast, if you want to hear his voice.
Yeah, he's been on there, yes.
I don't know if he's part of the cast or if he's just a guest every once in a while. But I've heard him a couple times on there, so that's why I question it.
Right. Sam Harris is not a fabrication of our imaginations. We did not create him out of thin air.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, I'd be very proud if we did. He'd be a great character.
Mm-hmm.
But Sam Harris is a standalone human being.
He's our Flash.
Yeah, he is our Flash. Carlos Perez says, what was one of your best date stories and worst date stories in your guys' life? Do you mind starting? And I have a request, Jacob.
Sure.
Do you mind if we call Zach on your phone and I just ask him to tell us a short story from one of his dates or one of our dates that we shared?
Yeah, we can.
Because that's how I wish Zach was here with us, because he would add so much to this conversation.
Oh, yeah?
Well, let's start with you, Jacob. One of your best and worst date stories.
Let's start with the worst. Probably my worst would be I went on a date with a girl on Tinder. I'm sure everyone is familiar with Tinder. It's a app that you use to hook up with the opposite sex or the same sex.
Right.
I shouldn't say opposite. Just to hook up with people. That's its main purpose.
All right.
And, I found this girl on there. She had some cute pictures. So I was like, okay,
Is this someone I know?
No.
Okay.
No, this person lived like east of Atlanta.
Oh, wow. It's far. How far did you extend your reach? Can't you adjust how far it searches?
I think it's I put mine at 50 miles.
Holy 50 miles? Holy crap.
Yeah. This was actually a year or two ago. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But we met up. I think we went somewhere in Roswell.
Did she reflect the picture on her Tinder profile?
Kinda.
Okay. Well, she was a whale.
When you look at her from the front, yeah.
And by whale, I mean a literal whale with a fin and all.
She looked weird from the sides, and she was taller than I thought she was.
Was it a guy?
No.
Okay.
It was a girl. Wouldn't that be funny though?
Yeah, it would.
But I met her, and it's not really a bad story. It's just that she didn't look like what I thought she did. Okay. So it was extremely awkward, to the point where I didn't even want to talk to her or be there with her. So I was like,
so she didn't have a cool personality or anything?
No, she was like a blank slate. She was so boring. So, I was kind of forcing conversation. She wasn't really giving me much.
Right.
So it was just awkward as hell, dude. And then I had already bought movie tickets.
Oh, no.
Prior to that. So I had to go see a movie with her.
What'd you guys see?
I don't remember at this point. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I probably enjoyed the movie more than actually being with this person.
Okay.
It was not fun. I'd drive 45 minutes home.
That's terrible.
Just being disappointed.
I'm sorry,
So
Jacob.
I've been, kind of reluctant to use Tinder anymore to meet people.
Okay.
After that. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, counteract it. What was one of your best?
I don't really have any exciting best ones.
You don't have any best date stories?
I'm trying to think.
All of mine are with Zach.
Oh, yeah?
When we were on double dates. And when we dated each other.
Yeah.
Which we still do, just long distance.
Tell me your bad one. Or you can start with either.
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know if I have any bad ones. I've never really
Never had a bad one?
It's funny. I've never dated people that I didn't intend on having a relationship with. I didn't even start dating. I've only had 2 real girlfriends in my life. Of course, I've dated other people very briefly in the past that I kind of quickly figured out I don't want to be with this person. Not that they had anything wrong with them. I just knew in the long run it probably wouldn't work out. But the 2 girls I've dated the longest, I was friends with beforehand and got to know them and knew that, when we start dating, we'll more than likely end up together. And that's why I've had long relationships with the 2 individuals I've had relationships with. But I don't know if I've had any bad ones because I never really go out on a limb and just date people. I usually get to know them at least a little bit before we go on a date. So unless Zach can spark something in my memory, I don't think I have any bad ones. But we're going to call him now.
It's
hopefully.
the thing, I guess I have good ones, but they're not exciting stories,
Okay.
So
well, just tell me about a good date you had. It didn't have to be that exciting.
Does it have to be a first date?
No, it can be anything. Just a day that you remember, like the band.
That's a good band.
It is. It's a great band name, too. I use that phrase often.
Let's see. Here, let's call it Zach.
Okay. And while you're calling him, let's remain silent for a moment so the air, I can filter it out later. It's a tradition on this podcast now. We always start when the air isn't going. Okay, we're still here. Jacob's calling Zach. I'm going to put him on speakerphone. I'm hoping he picks up. This is crucial. We'll see if he respects you enough to pick up, Jacob.
I called him not too long ago.
Be good to us, Zach. I don't know if he's going to pick up, Jacob. I think he hates you.
Oh. I knew he hated me.
So since he's not going to pick up, just text him and say...
You've reached the voicemail box of Zach Bynum. Please...
And just say, hey, this is Garrett. Call us ASAP. We have a question. We're on the podcast or something. He'll definitely call us back if we say that.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of any negative dates I've had while we wait. I'm trying to think of all the people I've gone on dates with. Oh, I got a great one, Jacob. This is awesome. So there was a girl I dated when we were, I think we were juniors in high school. I'm not going to name her name, but remember you guys all called her the Dragon. Remember this girl?
Say again.
Remember I dated a girl junior year of high school that you guys all called the Dragon.
The Dragon.
She was blonde. She was older than us.
She's got to say blonde, and I know.
Yeah. So I dated this girl who had a reputation for being insane, but she was very beautiful, and I didn't really think much of it because I was a young, stupid idiot. So she was a senior in high school. She could drive. She was 18. I think I was 15 at the time. So I couldn't drive. I didn't even have my learner's permit. I didn't have a job. All I did was go to school, come home, and play Halo with my best friends. So for some reason, she had interest in me, and we started dating. I don't even remember how this happened. It didn't connect on a personal level whatsoever. I think I was just attracted to the girl, and being the young idiot that I was, I'm like, well, that's good enough for me. Didn't know any better. So we started dating, and by dating, I mean she would literally come to my house, pick me up in her car, and take us someplace, and either buy us food, or my mom would pay for the food, and then she would just bring me home and leave. So she was like practically a babysitter, would pick me up, and we'd go do things, and she'd bring me back home in her car.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's not really a specific date, but all of them were like that. It was very embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that did terrify me was she drove this car that she refused, a really old car too. It was like an old Chevrolet or something, but she would not wear a seatbelt. She refused to. And I think I asked her, and she's like, I just don't care that much. If I get hit by a car, I die, whatever. I did not understand that mentality, whatever. I mean, that maybe reflects her psyche a bit there, and why we eventually didn't work out is because of things like that internally she had going on. But she didn't wear a seatbelt, and she had a BlackBerry, which is very tedious to text on, as I'm sure you're aware. And
yeah,
she would.
I used to have one.
She drove a stick shift as well. She would drive. She would drive this car and text on her BlackBerry without wearing a seatbelt constantly. And you can imagine me, where we went everywhere, holding on for dear life, praying that we didn't run into incoming traffic or something.
Yeah.
So it was terrifying. But those were some of my negative experiences when dating. That was the only girl I ever dated that I didn't know beforehand. Only because she was older than me. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I'm going to date a girl that's older than me. Yeah. She's a senior, man.
Gotcha.
Terrible. Did you text Zach?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, he hasn't responded.
We're gonna come back to this question, Carlos, when Zach calls us back, because that's where the real fun will begin.
Right. If he calls us back.
As he and I have shared so many double dates that are either hilarious or epic. So I'm excited.
Have you ever told the twin story on the show? Not this show in particular, but
I think I may have mentioned it previously on, maybe it was Ask IOG when I talked about the meaning behind the Chasing Twins band name.
I feel like you've talked about it before.
I think I've actually saved that story. Maybe I've mentioned it before. I don't know. If I have, please tell us in the comments, because I want to share it again. I'm not going to share it tonight anyway, because I'd wait for Zach to be here in person to tell it, because it's far more entertaining. But hopefully he calls us soon. We'll come back to that one. Horsley Charlie says, is Baja Blast just Mountain Dew and Blue Powerade?
I don't know. I
don't know either. I think people have said that that's basically the ingredients, because I think people have made it at home and it tastes almost the same.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Like traditional Mountain Dew and Blue Powerade, I think, creates that concoction.
The amount of times we get it, we ought to know.
It's tropical lemon lime or tropical citrus or something is the actual description of Baja Blast. It's got that gorgeous crystal blue color. Maybe it's like like an emerald green in a way.
Yeah.
Or emerald green's more of the original Mountain Dew. It's like a blue-green color. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'd like to have a flowing river of it through my home one day.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Or I can just take a goblet and dip it into the Baja Blast river.
With diamonds on it.
Yeah, exactly. I would love that. Yeah, Horsley Charlie, we can neither confirm nor deny that, but I've heard people that made it at home say it almost tastes the same.
Yeah. Do an experiment and let us know.
Yeah, please let us know if you're willing to do so. Jay Scriber says, hey guys, Hope you're all having a somewhat relaxing summer. If you could only pick one, what's your favorite developer? Is that Zach? No, it's Preston.
Yuck.
Mine would easily be Bandai Namco because even my childhood was there with Pac-Man, Dragon Ball Z, Budokai, Tekken, etc. I love all those games that he mentioned. Who's your favorite developer?
It's no secret what my favorite developer is.
I think we've mentioned this 1,000 times.
Yes, Activision Blizzard.
Cool. Mine is currently Naughty Dog. In the past, it was Bungie during the Halo phase.
Yeah.
And now it's Naughty Dog coming off of course, the Uncharted trilogy. Yeah. Quadrilogy, I should say. There's even a prequel in there, and there's a follow-up to that fourth game. So how many? That's 6 games now?
They've made more than that.
Right.
Have they not?
Uncharted games?
No, I mean games prior.
Prior, but I mean Uncharted specifically is what really where my love for Naughty Dog started to develop. And then, of course, The Last of Us really solidified them as my favorite.
Yeah, they are fantastic.
And, of course, I'm freaking out for The Last of Us Part 2.
Yes. I can't wait for E3, I would be guessing, where we might get some more gameplay.
Yeah, I would love to see even the slightest tease at PlayStation Experience this year, because that's where they initially revealed it last year.
Yeah.
I mean, in a lot of ways, I'm also
Is that where they revealed it?
It was PlayStation Experience, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It wasn't like the end of an E3?
No, it wasn't.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm almost positive. Okay. If I'm wrong, you have permission to decapitate me.
Okay.
I'll hold you to it as well.
Right, but
of course, it's not necessary to see anything more. I'm very much of the mindset that I prefer to wait until the game's nearly ready for launch. That's what I loved about the Fallout 4 reveal and release date. I thought it was perfect. Uh-huh. But we'll see.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for, a developer, really, I don't think, but because you're losing out on, just advertising.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. What do I know, Garrett?
I don't know. I don't know much either myself, Jacob. I usually just make things up as I go and hope it comes out clearly.
Same here.
Preston's favorite developer, I hate to speak for him, but I'm pretty sure it's Naughty Dog as well.
Yeah.
He believes what a lot of people believe these days, is that Naughty Dog is the most talented studio in the industry. I'm kind of that same mindset.
Certainly at storytelling.
And storytelling, and even just visually as well. Their games look gorgeous.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, Blizzard's up there with some of the best as well. They're probably my second favorite. I'm not even don't even have that deep of a history with Blizzard, but everything I've played from Diablo 3 and onward has just been so wonderful. And I love it all. Sish says, from now and forever, you can only play either 2D or 3D video games. Which do you pick?
3D.
Yeah, that's so easy. 3D for sure.
Not that I don't have an appreciation for 2D games, but no. I kind of grew up when 3D was just happening, so it's kind of what I came up on.
Mm-hmm. Of course, we have both played many 2D, even side-scrolling games in our past.
Sure.
I started on those, but everything 3D I've always loved more.
Yeah, I guess
2D.
I did start on that too, because isn't Pokemon... Well, Pokemon's not a 2D
That's
game.
like top-down.
Yeah. I mean
it's technically 2D, but...
I mean, around that time, though, I was just starting to begin playing Super Mario Bros. On the NES.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, when I think 2D, I think traditional 2D side-scrollers, but I know there's also 3D side-scrollers, and so that's what I have in my mind, but easily 3D for me, that's no question at all. There's just so much more you can do in a 3D space. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm not denying that there are amazing 2D side-scrolling games, and even top-down games like Pokemon, for example, but I'm always going to enjoy 3D. More.
I'll never forget the first time I played a video game. Do you have that memory in your head?
I do. I literally remember exactly where I was sitting, where I was, what time of night it was, and everything.
I mean, I don't remember what time it was, but I remember where I was sitting, what I was doing, and where I was. It was cool.
Where were you?
I was on a reclining chair in our living room in our old house next to, I think, a Christmas tree. And I was playing Pokemon Blue.
On Game Boy?
Color.
Okay.
Purple see-through.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was very happy.
Okay.
I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I was picking a starter, and I couldn't decide which one to pick.
That's got to be the coolest feeling to think back on.
Yeah.
Having that experience for the first time in your life.
It took me a year to beat that game because I had no idea what to do.
Right. Like many of us, I played countless games when I was a kid. I had no clue what the objective was. I didn't know what the characters' motivations were. I knew nothing. I just played it because I thought it was awesome.
Dude, I don't know if I've ever told this little story, but I literally got my Charizard to level 100 before I even got to Saffron City. Did you ever play the original Pokemon?
No, I did not.
Well, Saffron City is like I think you can kind of choose, but it can be the 5th or 6th gym. So, like I had basically had a Pokemon that was way too powerful for that point in the game because I couldn't figure out how to get into Saffron City because it was the stupidest thing. You had to give the police officer guarding the way in a fresh drink. Like, I didn't know how to do that as a kid.
A fresh drink.
But you have to go buy it at a vending machine in the city to the west of it. But, once I figured that out, I was so happy. I was like, I can finally go into the city.
Did it actually say fresh drink when you got it? Or
there's multiple ones you can buy. You can buy like fresh water lemonade.
Okay.
Or soda pop, I think. And I don't know what I bought, but, it was just cool to actually figure that out. Because, back in those days, you weren't just able to look up something.
On the internet, yeah.
I don't know if dial-up was around back then when I was playing that, but, we're way off track.
That's fine. I enjoyed the story.
Yeah.
My first experience with video games, I was 5, and I was in my grandmother's home in Jacksonville, Florida. And my cousin, who I think he's 8 or 9 years older than me, had obviously had a Super Nintendo for years and was handing it down to me. He plugged it into a crappy little TV in the living room and whipped up that Marvel X-Men game with Spider-Man and the X-Men on the cover on Super Nintendo. And I remember playing that for about an hour, I couldn't even get past the first room of that game. Because this was my first experience ever with video games, holding a controller for the first time. I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah. But I knew in that moment, I adore this, and I need more of it in my life. And that's why I'm here today talking about video games to you.
Now you're literally talking about them.
Yeah, and going to PAX this weekend.
Yeah, and now you're going to PAX.
It's kind of a crazy thought. That moment led to where we are now.
Yeah, arguably.
It's so cool. So you haven't heard from Zach yet?
Nope.
Man.
He hates me.
Maybe he's at Disney World right now. It's probably what he's doing.
Maybe.
Either that or
happiest place in the world. Doesn't have time for us.
Yeah. He could be dead. You never know.
Don't say that.
I hope not. It's not out of the question, though. Carlos says, I think this is the same Carlos. He says, I loved our Discord community. Everyone's like family to me, and was thinking that can you guys imagine a day IOG hits 1 million subs and all those subs are in the Discord channel and we all never speak again to each other because there's too many people in the chat? My heart, head, and toes hurt thinking about this.
I honestly can't imagine it.
I can't imagine it either, actually.
What if that did happen? I don't think it will, but if it does, I think we would obviously need to make the Discord harder to get into.
You think so? Yeah. Make it like an exclusive
especially
club?
If we really took off with Twitch or something, I would feel like only people that subscribe to us maybe can use the Discord. I think that would be a good option.
That would make sense.
I don't think just letting anyone chat in our Discord, it would be ridiculous. Like, you couldn't control it.
All right. It'd be insane.
Like, I don't know the answer. Like, that's the best answer I can come up with.
Yeah, I don't ever imagine that day occurring either. Of course, we'd like to grow as much as possible. I mean, our dream is to do this full time and connect with all of you daily with all forms of content, of stuff that we'd love to do that we're incapable of doing currently and stuff. I mean, we've talked about this a million times. Can't imagine the day, but I'm sure we would figure something out.
Yeah.
Because I know we're loving connecting with all of you guys daily on Discord with the level we're at. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
So... always a fun time on Discord.
Yeah.
And all of you that are listening to this episode of Ask IOG / the It's Obvious podcast on Spotify or iTunes, Google Play, Audio Boom, wherever you are out there, and you've yet to either subscribe on YouTube or check out our additional content I guess our only additional content's on YouTube, or join the Discord, please do so. We'd love to hear from you guys. Don't be afraid either. I know we have a little community that kind of already exists on YouTube and Discord, but I hope no one ever feels intimidated to just jump in because everyone's very welcoming. That's what I love about our community, is that we're all very welcoming. And I personally get pumped when someone else comes out of the woodworks like, oh, I've been on Spotify for a while. I'm like, dude, welcome to the party. Yeah. So it's awesome. So we encourage you guys to join us on those additional platforms.
You don't even have to say hi. You can literally just lurk. Sometimes I just lurk for several days, just see what people are saying. I read every single post. Believe it or not.
Nice. So. Yeah, I've been a lurker most of my life in all facets, even aside from the internet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very much a person who kind of sits back and listens more than I actually engage with other human beings.
I am too. We're like that. Mm-hmm. We're similar in that way.
Yeah. But hey, anyone strikes up a conversation with me, I'll talk to you for hours if you want to talk. Unless you're that bored you went on a date with all those years ago.
Yeah, she sucked, man. The worst date I've ever been on.
I'm sorry, Jacob.
So boring.
I'm sure others can relate to that experience. Chief Beef says, if you could get your dream job, money not a problem, etc., but you had to give up gaming to do it, would you take it? What is your dream job, Jacob? I have my dream job, and believe it or not, I'm currently living it. I just don't get paid for it.
Yeah. My dream job would probably be, well, there's multiple ones. I would like to be an athlete. I think that would be incredible, but
what sport? Let me guess. Foosball.
Yes, foosball.
So I figured.
No, it would be either football or baseball. I never tried football, which is one of my biggest regrets.
You're built like a linebacker or like a safety or something.
Yeah, I don't look like a linebacker.
I mean,
not nearly as big.
Yeah, well, maybe not nearly as big. You're like halfway to the linebacker side. I think you'd probably make a great safety. How do you feel about that?
I mean, if I played football, I'd probably be bigger than I am now.
You're a pretty quick runner too. You could probably be quick, a pretty scrappy running back.
Maybe, yeah. I always pictured myself as a running back, but that's just because I liked that position more than the others.
That's definitely, in addition or following quarterback, it's in my opinion the coolest position on offense by far.
Yeah, I mean,
I've always had a dream of being a linebacker.
Yeah,
I mean, bless their hearts, they're necessary and they save everyone's lives.
You get paid a lot of money to be one. Oh God. Here you go, Garrett.
Nice Game of Thrones theme there.
Thank you.
What is this? Is that Dr. Martin or something?
No, it's Zach.
That's supposed to be
I think
Zach?
you drew that.
Did I?
Yeah.
That's so weird. Zachary, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. What's going on?
Where are you at right now?
I am inside of my apartment.
Oh, it sounds like a madhouse in there. Is there like a party going on?
Yeah, we're throwing a pretty big rager down here.
Oh, sick, dude.
Yeah, there's like 3 people here, and I just ate a lot of Chipotle.
Oh, shit.
That's cool,
getting
dude.
Wild.
Yeah, you guys gotta tone it down a notch.
Yeah, it's always Sunny's on. Well, actually, it's paused, so, And I'm drinking a Mountain Dew Black Label, so yeah, I'm kind of living on the edge.
I don't think I've had a Black Label in quite some time. You enjoying it this evening?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Excellent.
Yeah, just rolled back in from work, worked all day, so yeah.
Awesome.
That's pretty much it. Nothing too new and exciting.
Very cool. Well, Zach, I don't know what Jacob texted you, but you're currently live on the It's Obvious podcast.
Yeah, I had assumed.
Okay, cool. So I'm hoping you have at least a few minutes to share some tales from your life and my life, specifically about dates. I'm going to reiterate this question for you so you can help me answer it the best way possible, because as you know, you and I have shared many double dates.
Yes, we have.
So the question comes from Carlos Perez, and he says, what was one of your best date stories and worst date stories in your guy's life? Now, Zach, I'm sure you have some solo date stories that are your best and worst that you're more than welcome to share. But specifically, you and I have got to at least cover one or two of our double dates that stick out in your mind.
I'm trying to think.
Putting him on the spot.
I am.
I know. No, that's not considered a date. I always think of that Jason Twin story.
Yeah, that's what me and Jacob were saying. I mean, we could tell it now with you over the phone, but I feel like it'd be even funnier if you were in person whenever we do this again.
We'll save that sweet moment. What? I feel like the most awkward stuff has happened to us. I just can't think of it.
I mean, I guess we could share the date. I don't want to name their names, but the date you and I went on with the girls we dated senior year of high school.
Oh, yes.
I'm trying to think of where to start. Didn't we showed up to their door in our normal clothes, but when we showed up, we're like, we don't look good enough. We need to rethink our whole strategy here.
Yes, that's right. We came, totally just blue jeans and shirts, and we're like, we're trying to surprise them. What are we doing? We need to be in suits with flowers right now. So we literally left and went to go put on the nicest clothes we had and then go buy flowers.
Right, and showed up at their door, and I recall that being quite a successful decision, because they were very happy about that appearance.
Oh, yeah, they freaked out and started screaming.
Yeah. And then we did what any noble bachelors would do next, is we took them to the local Outback Steakhouse.
That's right.
I believe we all shared a bloomin' onion because we were too broke to afford anything else.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's actually correct. We all did share a bloomin' onion. And,
you dress up all nice and you get an appetizer
at Outback.
And that was literally when I was addicted to Red Bull, so I'm pretty sure I had somebody bring me a Red Bull from the bar.
Nice. Red Bull and a bloomin' onion.
More willing to spend money on energy drink than I was food.
Right. Is that all we did at Outback? I think that's all it was.
That was literally it. Yeah, it was that special.
That's the same night we went to Brewster's, correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And was Brewster's closed or were they open? Weren't they closed?
They were closed. Yes, they were closed.
Yeah, so we went for ice cream, and of course it was closed. We didn't get our frozen treats, but we did get another form of a treat because our girlfriends were like, "What should we do next? What should we do?" And me and Zach were like, "You could make out if you want." And
just being stupid.
Yeah, not even being that serious, but they actually took our request seriously and proceeded to engage in the act for us in the back of my car.
Yeah. Then they were like, "Oh, it's your turn," and you and Zach made out.
Yeah, me and Zach actually made full-on love in the front seat of my car, so it was quite the performance.
They were like, "Whoa, we just wanted you to kiss."
Time for us that month, so
right,
nothing new there.
Yeah, no, but in reality, I mean that was cool and all, but it lasted maybe 5 seconds. We're like, "All right, that was cool. I guess we'll go home now." And I'm pretty sure that was the conclusion of that date.
Yeah, I also realized that night on the drive home that I could change your car stereo from the back seat with some buttons.
Right.
And I kept like freaking out and acting like it was one of you guys up front, and then your lady got like really mad. You know, it was like the funniest thing to me.
I do recall that now. Yes, that was great.
What's even funnier right now is that Cassie and my roommate are like outside, like in like my room talking, and I was in the middle of a conversation with them when I like called back, and then I just like stepped into my closet and closed the door. And I'm having like a random conversation in my closet.
Zach, what are you talking about in there? Not ex-girlfriends making out.
Yeah.
What? That's funny. I'm trying to think. There's got to at least be one more that we reflect on all the time. It's funny because it's easier for some reason when other people share stories that sparks memories that we have.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like trying to.
And we've been on a ton of double dates with girls we weren't necessarily in relationships with, but they were very brief.
Yes.
So I was telling Jacob I've hardly dated any girls I didn't end up in a relationship with, but there have been a handful that you and I have dated in the past, very briefly.
We had some pretty bad Halloween, so we made some attempts at.
Oh, we did.
Now that I remember, I have two good ones, but they're both like naughty. I don't know if I should say them on.
They're both naughty.
Yeah, but they're good stories. I don't think I should say them right now. Maybe in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, how is this? It's obvious after dark. What can be said?
I mean, it's funny you ask. It's a hybrid episode of It's Obvious podcast and our other show, Ask IOG, which is the show that's only community questions and it's more of a random discussion. And we're doing the hybrid episode because I have to go out of town this weekend and I won't be able to record the normal episode. So,
gotcha.
It's kind of free reign here.
Well, I'm gonna say something, and if you think we should continue the story, let me know, or perhaps leave it for another time.
Okay.
The night where all 5 of us were hanging out, and a certain girl and her friend wanted us to come and hang out and like jump the fence to whatever little community they were living in.
I think I recall where this is going, and it's pretty wild.
Yeah, I don't know if the rest of this should be repeated or not. Because there's not much left of the story. It was essentially just what was said, but it was...
Right. Out of respect for them and all involved, this is what we can say. We'll say like the appropriate version in a way. Let's just say these two girls were so promiscuous that, and we didn't ever hang out with them previously. I knew this girl, believe it or not, through church at the time. But they must have been intoxicated because they were acting so promiscuous that they were willing to essentially satisfy all 5 of us at once. And
just to get us to come over.
And yeah, just to get us to come over. And that was, and of course, being high school guys, were like, well, should we? Well, we didn't. Of course, we didn't go over there. But that was rather disturbing. Waking up the next morning and reflecting upon the request they had made. But that was pretty disgusting thinking back on it. But that was funny.
Yeah.
And we've had some lame dates where we've invited, I think we invited 2 girls over once. We're like, you guys want to just come over and watch a movie? And I remember when these 2 girls came over and we sat very quietly and watched Interview with a Vampire.
Yes.
And I don't think the four of us said a word to each other the entire movie, and the movie ended. And we were like, all right, well, I guess we'll see you later. And they just left. And it was the last time we ever saw them. It's probably one of the most awkward double dates I've ever been on. I was watching Interview with a Vampire, not saying a word.
Yeah, that was really awkward. I think it was even more awkward because we were just like at my house, and we never really like did anything like that at my house.
Yeah, maybe it was weird. Most of the double dates where we didn't go anywhere were typically at my house on that classic jean couch.
Yeah.
A jean couch.
Yeah.
I remember how worn down it got over the years.
Yeah, that thing took a beating, that's for sure. Well, is there anything else that's floating around in your head? Because I know there's countless more. It's hard for me to recall all of them. It's typically when people share stories of their own, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this one time.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying so hard to think. I worked 11 hours today, so my brain's fried.
Me too.
I'm just trying to almost go back in time here and just try to think of who we actually went on double dates with.
Jacob, do you have any other stories to share where Zach's kind of thinking it might help him out a little bit?
No, but I just realized that there was one girl that I think there's one that we all at least did something with.
That we all sort of dated?
Yeah.
Over time?
Do you know who this girl is?
Does she have dark hair?
Maybe.
You know who he's talking about,
yes.
Zach?
Wait a second.
Does she look like a certain celebrity?
What celebrity?
She's a singer.
Who?
Lady Gaga?
No.
Not that girl? Okay.
What girl is that?
I don't want to say her name on the podcast.
But
yeah.
Nice girl, though.
I know who. Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but no, I didn't. I did not.
Who are you talking about, Jacob?
I did not hit her. Oh, hi, Mark.
Well, I don't want to say any names.
Yeah, I don't want to say names either, but I don't know who you're talking about.
I just thought everyone would realize.
I remember Jacob dated that girl in high school, and of course they later broke up tragically, but she ended up dating a guy that looked exactly like Jacob for a while, and we said it was Jacob's evil twin brother or something.
Yeah, that dude looked just like you, Jacob. That kind of freaked me out.
If I gained 50 more pounds, I'd probably be that guy.
You could be that guy.
I could.
Yeah, you could have been playing both roles for all we know.
No, I don't know what he looks like now. Never mind. I'm thinking of someone else.
I'm trying real hard to...
Well, if anything comes to you, you're welcome to call us back.
Yeah.
In other words, get lost.
Okay, I see how it is. It's Obvious Gaming. You guys are too cool for me now.
No way, dude.
Even though...
I wish you could be here every week.
The original plan was to have you a part of us.
Yeah. I mean, I technically still consider you the absent fourth member that's just missed a lot of episodes.
I appreciate that. I feel like Todd Packard in The Office, where I just come in every 15 episodes. I'm like, what's up, nerds?
Yeah, and everyone loves when you're there, but you're just never there.
Right.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, yeah, if I think of anything, I'll give you a holler back. How long are you all going to be on tonight? Doing a podcast?
A little while longer, so just feel free to call. We'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good. I'll talk to you later.
All right, see ya.
Good night.
All right, see ya.
I'm sure there's plenty more where that came from over time. More will spark, but
yes,
we'll see if he calls us back. Thank you for your question, Carlos. Sorry for the delay on that one. Next one comes from, the dream job thing we were doing with Chief Beef. If you had to give up gaming to do it, would you give up gaming to become a professional athlete?
Good God, dude.
Think about it. In between games, what are you going to do without video games?
I know.
Twiddle your thumbs?
Honestly, I don't think I could. I don't think I could.
No, I don't think I could give up anything for my dream job. That's why my dream job has to do with video games.
So what you're pursuing now is your dream job?
I literally, that's what's so fascinating and strange at the same time, is that I am living my dream job. It's technically speaking more of a volunteer thing, because I don't get paid.
Yeah. I
don't want anyone to mistake me to think that I'm of the mindset that I need to be paid, because I don't think that at all. Of course, it'd be great. But that's what I'm working towards, is eventually acquiring a job in the industry that does pay.
I think doing something like this, sorry to interrupt you, but something like this for me would be a dream job.
Right.
Just doing something on YouTube.
This is my dream hobby. It's a hobby that I hope becomes my dream job one day.
I am a person that likes to kind of, I think I would enjoy working from home, and doing something like this would be something like that. So,
Absolutely.
I like being at my house.
As do I. I would love to not have to go anywhere except going to the movies and maybe Disney World, and that's pretty much it for me.
Mm-hmm.
So
then plus like being invited to, just being invited to go see stuff like new releases and stuff like that. That's exciting to me.
Definitely. Yeah, doing the games media thing, I think I've mentioned before, it's a dream of mine because it's the culmination of all the things I love. Video games, video production. I don't love writing. I enjoy it, but I definitely don't love it. Mm-hmm. But predominantly video production and video games, playing them.
I enjoy all those things as well.
So that's why it's my dream job, and I'm currently living it. I just don't get paid. So hopefully one day I will.
Yeah, hopefully.
But I'm having a blast working towards that.
Yeah, got to keep at it.
It's been a very surreal and amazing experience this year, how quickly my year shifted from me pursuing that to acquiring it so quickly. I mean, I think when I acquired the position I have with COG Connected, I went to E3 a week later.
Really?
It was literally a week. Only because their original guy had to drop out. And they're like, hey, who can go to E3? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'll be the first to admit, I don't deserve to go. I know nothing about how it works, and I'm brand new to you guys. But if no one else can go, I'm your guy. And that's how it happened.
There you go.
So, of course, I've had many opportunities to travel since then. It's been amazing. So I'm excited for the future. It's very difficult with school. I've struggled because of school. Mm-hmm. But, school is a means to an end that I have to finish.
Yes.
But yeah, thankfully I don't have to give up video games to have my dream job, because that is my dream job.
Yeah. I'm sure your time just casually playing them has been significantly cut in half. But.
Oh yeah, even more than half. I rarely play video games as is, but when I do, it's typically only for a stream or a let's play.
See, that doesn't make me happy.
No,
that's something I fear with going into that industry.
Right. I mean, the reason is because of school, honestly. If I did not have school, I would have plenty of time to play games, but school eats up every ounce. I mean, all my free time is either spent on school, ItsObviousGaming, or COG Connected. Mm-hmm. So technically, I don't have free time. Yeah. But whenever I'm playing games, even if I'm doing it for a video, I'm still playing them and I still enjoy it. But recreationally playing is very rare for me these days.
Gotcha.
Because of school. I have to study for freaking color theory and write Herbie Hancock is my answer. So hopefully when I get through school, my time will be open up a bit more. Or I could lose everything and have plenty of time for video games.
Sure.
I'm going to hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
but it's a possibility.
Let's not have that.
You have to consider all possibilities in this life, Jacob.
I guess.
Bojangles says, Mr. Kyle, Bohongeles. He says, hey guys, hope you're all doing fantastic. My question is, sometimes I would listen to new music as I played certain games, and the reaction is so strong every once in a while when a certain song would play, I would be taken right back to the time I was playing that game. For example, when I first started playing Oblivion, I was going through a huge Breaking Benjamin phase, and now every time I hear one of their songs, I'm brought back to those good old Oblivion days. There we go. Do you guys have any songs that when you hear them bring you guys back to the past?
Sure. I think everyone has those. Well, not it. You know what I mean. Everyone has those special moments.
You know what people really scare me? Are people that say they just have no interest in music.
Yeah.
I feel like that's inhuman. I feel like some people are just saying that to seem cool. I've only encountered a handful of people like that in my life, but they're like, I have no interest in music just to seem like they're different.
I know a person that's not crazy into music.
Who's that?
I don't want to say.
Is it your own mother?
No. Is it your own mother?
Why don't you want to say?
Because.
Is it someone I know?
Maybe.
So it's not in our immediate friend group?
No.
Okay. Do you agree with me, though? Do you think that's strange?
I do think it's strange.
Okay.
I think it's extremely strange. Because I couldn't imagine not listening to music.
I mean, there's other people that say they have no interest in movies, which that's also weird in itself, but I think music especially is very bizarre. I don't like music.
I mean, I can understand, like,
I like loud noises.
Maybe like someone likes to read instead, and that's understandable, because you can kind of do what you want with that.
I feel like music is just so a part of, like, the human soul.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's strange.
It's very, music is just pleasing. I don't understand how someone doesn't find that pleasing. There's a kind of music for everyone out there.
I agree.
At least I think.
Except for those people, apparently.
Apparently.
What songs bring you back to the past, Jacob?
Sorry. What's my number one, Garrett? What's the song that you think that brings me back the most?
Is it a Linkin Park song?
No, it's a game song. All these are
a video
game
song.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is it a Pokemon theme?
No, but that's one of them. The original menu music of Pokemon Red and Blue. Every time I think about that, I literally think about to the moment I described earlier.
Okay.
Just playing it for the first time.
Is it a World of Warcraft theme?
That's another one, dude.
Okay.
The menu music in that game.
Mhm.
Well, it's arguably it changes every time an expansion comes out, but I still remember the original one. And yeah, it was the original. But I always think about that, and just when I was first starting to play that game. But let me go through some. Simple and Clean was the one I thought you would get from
Kingdom Hearts, yeah.
Yeah, every time I think about that, I think about just playing that game for the first time, and
Mhm.
you know when I fell in love with the game, obviously. The Skyrim theme. Most of these are menu music themes, actually. They're all menu music themes.
Okay.
But when I say Kingdom Hearts Simple and Clean, I mean not just that song, but the whole soundtrack, like all the boss fight soundtracks. They're great.
I love Sanctuary.
Sanctuary is great too. That's Kingdom Hearts 2, right?
I think.
Yeah, it is. I just played it. Well, I started it. Super Smash 64. Super Smash Brothers. That brings back memories of me and my friends in my basement playing in 64. I would kick their fucking ass with Fox every time because I was the fucking best.
Were you, Jacob?
I was.
You're gonna have to prove that to me.
You couldn't beat me with Fox. When
I beg to differ.
I'm using Fox, I'm unstoppable on N64.
Ever seen me use Pikachu, Jacob?
Yes, you suck.
I will slaughter your ass.
Oh, okay.
I will electrocute the absolute
I'll make you
shit
wish
out
you
of
were never an electric mouse.
Electric mouse.
Yeah, those are some of my big ones. What about you?
I definitely have music that brings me back to the past, not necessarily.
I thought we were talking about video games in particular, so that's what I did.
Okay. Well, music for me, I mean, of course, there are certain game soundtracks that bring me back to playing said video games, but music as a whole brings me back to the past constantly. And for example, I was just recently listening to a band called Scary Kids, Scaring Kids. Now, their original vocalist was phenomenal. Nothing wrong with the new guy.
Who?
Scary Kids, Scaring Kids. You ever heard of that band?
No.
Also known as SKSK.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. Awesome band back in the day. I listened to them a ton in between 8th and 9th grade. And specifically, it was when I went to, and this is so goofy, I went to film camp when I was transitioning from middle school to high school. And what it was a 2-week trip where I stayed in Athens, Georgia, literally on the campus of UGA, and went to a film class every day. And we kind of learned a short history of the history of cinema. And we were split up into groups, and we were just told to make a short film. We were given a camera, and they said that we could make up the story and shoot it over a course of a few days, and we could edit it all together, and then we would play it at a big ceremony at the end of the film camp.
Yeah.
So I was grouped with a bunch of kids that play. I don't need to go into the details, but we made a film and it was fine. I went to film school for 2 weeks. But during that whole time, whether I was eating lunch or I was very antisocial. I mean, I'm still pretty antisocial, but at least in certain scenarios. But when I was that age, especially, I didn't talk to anyone hardly unless they talked to me. So at lunch and in between the class periods and going to and from UGA, I would listen to Scary Kids, Scaring Kids, specifically the album The City Sleeps in Flames. That album is an absolute classic to me, at least in that genre. Mm-hmm. And I was just recently listening to it again because their singer passed away, I think several years ago at this point, maybe been a few years ago. But I remember when he died, I listened to that album again. I was like, man, I forgot how awesome these songs are. So just recently that kind of sparked in my memory. I think it was with the death of Chester and the other guy from
Chris Cornell.
Yeah. Kind of sparked like
Soundgarden.
Yeah, vocalist dying, and even the guy from Suicide Silence died not too long ago. So that was kind of on my mind. I was like, man, I haven't listened to SKSK in a while.
Did you see how the VMA screwed over like the tribute to Chester?
No, wasn't it
Jared Leto
covering it?
They didn't like interrupt him, but they showed like a video afterwards, and they like cut it short.
A video of like Chester?
Yeah. Well, I think it was like a tribute / it was like a performance that they did for MTV a while back. I think it was in 2011. So I thought it was a little disrespectful.
Have you seen the 30 Seconds to Mars tribute that they did with Jared Leto?
You mean when he's out in the crowd? Or he's not like out in the crowd, but he's
Because I haven't seen it. I just heard about it.
I saw it.
Was it any good?
Yeah.
What song did they play?
I think Crawling.
Okay. I'd like to see Jared Leto do that song.
Actually, I don't know if he performed a Linkin Park song.
Okay.
He might just devote.
Was it just a song that like, oh, this goes out to Linkin Park and Chester?
I know Coldplay covered Crawling.
How was that?
It was pretty good, actually.
Interesting.
You should listen to it.
Okay. I'll check it out.
It's very unique in how he sang it.
Nice.
I mean, there's tons of tributes, but it's neither here nor there.
Very cool. I know everyone makes fun of Creed, but whenever I hear a Creed song, I'm brought back to going to and from karate practice when I was a kid. Because my dad would play bands like The Doors and Led Zeppelin and Metallica, but more often than not, we'd play a lot of Creed. We were on a Creed kick when I was a kid, when they were really, really famous. And albums like Weathered, and I think Human Clay was another album. And of course, their self-titled album, My Own Prison, was a big one. I think we listen to My Own Prison the most. And so whenever I hear Creed songs, I just think about going to and from karate class, complaining just relentlessly because I hated it. But my parents wanted to teach me, like, you start something, you got to finish it. They made me do it for like 6.5 years till I got my black belt.
Jeez.
And hated it.
You're getting your black belt.
Yeah, I hated it most of the time. But, I did it. I got my black belt on a strip mall in Snellville, Georgia. So I'm a ninja, man. Can't even hardly remember anything I learned. But it's something I did as a child.
I'll remember that next time I assault you.
Yeah, careful, man. I have a 2nd-degree black belt in Tong Soo Do. Tong Soo Do, fun fact, is the exact same karate that Jennifer Gardner has a black belt in.
No.
And I thought it was so cool because Alias herself had a black belt. You remember that show, Alias?
No.
That's a show she was on. Before she was Elektra in the crappy Daredevil movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to say crappy because as a kid I loved that movie, but comparing it to the Daredevil we have now on Netflix, it's terrible. So I do love Ben Affleck as a character, though. I thought he was a good Matt Murdock. What's one more band that brings me back to the past?
You tell me.
There's got to be something out there. I think Reliant K brings me back to the 6th grade when I had one friend. I'm not going to say his whole name, but his name was Brock. He was my best friend in middle school. Hung out with him daily, and I listened to a lot of Reliant K. So whenever I hear Reliant K these days, I'm reminded of my time in 6th grade. For some reason, I always think of my car trips to and from school. I carpooled the kid across the street who had a ravenous hatred for preppy popular kids at school. He was such a nerd that all he would ever do is talk about how much he hated popular kids. And it kind of rubbed off on me because I wasn't like a total dweeb in middle school. I mean, I'm kind of a dweeb now, but I wasn't a total loser. I was in between. That's how I always was. I wasn't popular and I wasn't a total nerd per se. I mean, I'm very much a nerd, but you know what I mean? Like, those are the kids that like everyone, like, those are the weird kids. And when you're in middle school, those are the popular kids. I was very much in the middle. So I never knew what I should do because my buddy, Brock, was very popular. But this other friend who lived across the street and I carpool with every day hated those kinds of kids. So I was very confused in 6th grade, but all I did was listen to Reliant K on repeat in 6th grade. So I guess hearing that band reminds me of those strange middle school times.
Yeah, speaking of people that don't listen to music, I didn't listen to a lot of music in middle school. It wasn't until I hit around 8th grade high school where I started really getting into music.
I used to listen to music on my portable CD player with my crappy little headphones. I listened to a ton of 12 Stones or a Christian rock band.
Yeah, I used to listen to a ton of Christian music because that was kind of my upbringing.
Yeah.
And like then I started hearing stuff like Linkin Park and Slipknot.
Yeah.
Fall Out Boy. I was like, holy crap, this is awesome.
Yeah, I'll never forget telling my dad about Slipknot for the first time. And that was actually before I forget off Subliminal Verses. And I was like, Dad, can I download this song on iTunes on our dial-up internet? It'll only take like 8 minutes to download. And he watched the music video. And it's not like a violent music video, but it is very... Compared to other metal, it's not.
Sure, back then it was pretty
back
violent.
in the time, I hadn't heard like heavier music than Slipknot, so they seemed very ferocious and intense. My dad's like, I don't know if you're ready for that, son. I don't want you listening to that. So of course, I listened to it anyway.
See, my dad wouldn't let me listen to that at all, dude.
Right.
I know your dad's like, he's always been into rock and metal and stuff, but my dad, he wasn't really into rock or metal, so.
Right. It's so funny that my dad wouldn't let me download a Slipknot song in middle school, and then years later, my dad's like, "You want to go to the Killswitch Engage show?" Yeah. I mean, Killswitch Engage isn't that heavy either, but they're definitely up there with like a Slipknot sound, which is so funny. My dad's like a hardcore fan of Killswitch Engage. I enjoyed that show. That was a fun one. It's sad because Devil Wears Prada was not very good that night. I think it was the sound mostly, because we've seen them and they're incredible, but that night specifically, they were very forgettable. Yeah. So I'm hoping they make up for that on their next tour with Veil of Maya. So stoked for that in October.
I bet you are.
At the Masquerade. You been to the new Masquerade yet?
I haven't.
It's awesome.
I'm going to go see Slow Magic there, though.
Okay.
I know you're not much into electronic music.
Which room is it in? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay, because Hell specifically, I haven't been in Purgatory or Heaven yet, but Hell has this upper balcony that they don't restrict anyone going to, and it's the best because you're not in the mosh pit, but you're right above the soundboard, and you have a perfect view of the stage, and the sound's awesome.
Nice.
So that's where... are you going to the Devil Wears Prada show with us in October?
Nah. I don't want to see Devil Wears Prada anymore.
Preston,
I've seen them.
Right.
I've seen them more than anyone else, I think.
Really?
I think so.
I think we've seen them. I think we've seen them 5 or 6 times when we saw them.
I think I've seen them like
time.
4 or 5. I think I've missed 1 or 2.
The band
I've seen them so many times.
I've seen the Ghost Inside equally as much as Devil Wears Prada, which is my favorite band.
Yeah.
We're mostly going for Veil of Maya because Preston and I recently, of course, I mean, we had always known of Veil of Maya, but we didn't really.
Yeah, you guys always talk about them
until their most recent album, Matriarch, and they're in the process of finishing up a new album. They've teased one of their songs, and I'm hoping they release a single before their next tour. I don't know if they are, but they're so awesome. And then we saw them live recently, and they sounded incredible. So they're going to be with Devil Wears Prada. It's like a match made in heaven. We're excited.
I know that I'm going to see the Killers next year, which is exciting.
Yeah,
I haven't bought my ticket, but I really need to.
You gonna go with Zach?
Yeah,
that's cool. I'd like to go with you guys. I remember
they bought like standing tickets, so
that kills me if I stand too long at a show.
You know, Zach's gonna want to get close to Brandon Flowers.
Yeah, he's touched him once.
Yeah,
Zach said he literally fought his way through a group of 13-year-old girls to touch Brandon Flowers, and Brandon Flowers smiled at him when they touched hands.
It's like, I know how hard you worked to get here.
So that's a pretty great story.
Mm-hmm. I would give anything to go. Because Linkin Park announced that they're doing like a Chester tribute in LA or something. Like themselves are doing it.
They're not going to have any vocalists come in and do anything?
I don't know what they're doing. They just said they're doing something.
Because I think that
I would give anything to go to that.
If like bands that have either toured with them or they're friends with, they have their vocalists cover different songs. That's what I thought was the coolest thing from when Mitch Lucker died from Suicide Silence. They had all these metal vocalists and cover his songs. It was awesome.
I think there might be a future with Linkin Park too, because they were talking like they're going to be a future.
Really?
I don't know what they're going to do though.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say they find a vocalist that sounds a lot like Chester. Would you be open to him like touring with them for a while to see how it goes?
Sure. I wouldn't be opposed to having a new sound either.
Yeah, I was going to say like just a new vocalist entirely that brings a new sound to Linkin Park. Mm-hmm. It'd be kind of cool because if you think about it, I mean, I know they're still worldwide, super successful, and a ton of people love them, but it'd almost be like a revolution, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, like a new look and sound.
One of the guys in the band's name is Phoenix.
Is it?
Well, it's not really his name.
Is it like his stage name?
Yeah.
Cool. I always love the stage names of Avenged Sevenfold, like M Shadows, Zachy V, Zachy Vengeance, The Rev.
Have you heard that M Shadows that he was featured in a Good Charlotte song? You ever heard that song? It's called The River.
No, I haven't heard it.
You should listen to The River. It's a good song.
Cool. I could see him matching their sound really well.
Oh yeah, he's awesome in that song.
That's where I got Zach Bynum's nickname. I call him Zachy B. I got it from Zachy V. It just flows so nicely.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've been calling him Zachy B for years. Music brings us back to the past. Thank you for your question, Kyle. AKA Toon says, I know you guys have talked a little about merch, but what would be some funny IOG themed merch items? I reckon some man wipes IOG themed.
That's a good one.
How about some man wipes with each of our faces printed on the wipes? Yes. You know, I'll wipe your asses with our faces.
Yeah, how would you guys like that?
I would love some IOG man wipes. I would want them scented like a brand new, opening a game box, like a brand new box of a game that has the scent.
I would like them to taste like those Switch cartridges. If you happen to lick the wipe.
Yeah. Just so you don't feel compelled to eat it. Yeah. But the taste of the Switch cartridge will discourage you from doing so.
What about candles that smelled like us?
Like our body odor?
Yeah.
Okay, now clean or filthy?
Clean, yeah.
Okay. Like our different body
Just how
washes?
We smell, yeah.
That's kind of
Everyone
weird.
has their own unique scent.
How about the scent of our studio here?
Maybe, yeah.
So what does my house smell like to you? I always ask people this and they can never come up with an answer.
I don't know.
For example, the people across my street, you walk into their house, it smells like salsa.
Yeah.
It smells like they cook salsa every day.
Yeah. I mean, I'm here so much, I don't recognize it.
I think they do cook a lot of Hispanic dishes because they are they have the father is Hispanic, the mother is American.
Okay.
So I do think they cook a lot of dishes like that. That's probably why it smells like that.
My house probably smells either like
probably what you cook the most.
Yeah. Or it smells like some kind of candle. Even like my parents burn a lot of candles downstairs, so
I think you're right about the candle scent because from what I do recall, I haven't been in your house too often.
Especially my room. I have a lot of... Well, not necessarily right now because it's so hot in my room right now.
Yeah.
Although we installed a ceiling fan in my room. It makes it so much cooler.
I bet. When'd you do that?
Last weekend.
Oh, nice. When you kind of set up your new room with the PC and everything.
Well, it was after that. It was just last weekend.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah, it's helping a lot, but it's still hot.
I remember Zach's dad installed a fan in yours and Zach's room when we moved into the apartment and had to take it back down when we left.
Yeah.
I bet it was worth it.
Every time I think about the heat at the apartment, I think about that weekend or whatever where our AC went out.
Yeah, our AC went. That was a nightmare.
Yeah.
It was fun for me because I was dating that girl at the time. And you all left and she stayed with me at the apartment. Granted, nothing happened. We were just very sweaty and miserable the whole time.
It wouldn't even be fun to begin with if something did happen.
I think we sat on the porch most of the night and smoked cigars. I remember that.
With a lady?
Yeah.
Who was this? I'm trying to... Oh, okay. I remember.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That girl.
Nice girl.
Yeah,
I forgot to mention our date stories. I don't think I have any good dates with her either. She was fun to hang out with, though. We went to the same community college at the time. She's married now. In fact, most of the girls I've dated in the past that didn't work out are all married.
Nice.
It's kind of like that Good Luck Chuck. Not Good Luck Chuck. What's that movie with Dane Cook where he's like the good luck charm? If women hook up with him, they go on to find the love of their life like days later. I don't think I've
seen a Dane Cook movie.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of that film, but it's kind of like a similar situation. I would date a girl, and then a year later, she's married.
Yeah.
All great girls. We just didn't really connect, so that happens in life.
Better luck with the next one.
Yeah.
The one you got already.
I have no interest in being married, but I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
So
you have no interest in being married?
Not anytime soon, no.
Okay, not anytime
soon.
And
the girl I'm dating, Casey, who's been on the show multiple times, also feels the same. We're both so focused on what we want to do for a career that we'll worry about that later.
It's a good mutual thing you have.
Yes, I'm glad we're on the same page about that. What were we talking about?
No idea.
IOG themed merch. So we talked about the wipes. Can never go wrong with wipes. I think a shirt with your torso imprinted on it. You've seen shirts that have like a muscular man's torso on them. I think you're just printing your chest onto a shirt would be awesome.
Or even just any of our faces, just like those emotes in the Discord chat.
I need a new emote with my new hairstyle.
Yeah, you do.
Work on that.
We just need to make new ones.
We do. Because I use the same ones. I'd like to have like multiple options, especially for videos.
It'd be cool if we could make like JPEGs or something to make them bigger.
That's easy. We just need to do a photo shoot in front of this green screen or a white screen where I can just cut out our faces real easily.
Okay.
And we'll have plenty. We could do countless. We could do nude emotes.
We could make a new emote that goes worldwide and like everyone uses it.
That'd be great. At the same time, I'd be kind of afraid to have that because you're kind of recognized like that for the rest of your life.
But what if like that brought us, more people in? Because they're like, oh, there's
that idiot with the strange face. Perhaps. Funny merch. We talked about t-shirts and stuff. I think a long time ago now, we submitted some designs we had in mind. I know at the beginning of the year we talked about it's a goal of ours to have a t-shirt out by the end of the year. It's not out of the question. We just haven't really put much thought into it. It's probably something if we still want to do it. It's realistic. We can definitely pull it off. We just need to make a decision of whether or not we're going to do it. It'd be great if you guys sit on Discord or in the comments of this podcast, let us know if a very minimal t-shirt design is still something you're interested in.
I think people want it. Like, I don't think that's the question. It's just a matter of what we want to do.
I think the design that's most affordable for us and I think kind of works for everyone is the plain black t-shirt with it's a plain black pocket tee with just the solid white IOG logo on the pocket. It's very simple and it kind of gets the job done for now. And we have so many cool designs in mind. That's the main one. Of course, it would make sense to release hoodies in the wintertime. And the hoodie design I think we have is really cool too. It's just that's far more expensive. Mm-hmm. But something to consider because we're quickly approaching the holiday season.
Yeah.
It'll be here before we know it. Other than the t-shirt with your chest printed on it, I can't really think of much else.
Yeah, I'm totally blanking.
I have no idea.
Maybe some Garrett themed wigs.
Wigs? I don't really have much of a hair that constitutes a wig anymore.
No, I just mean your old hair.
Yeah, and sure. My hair was a mess.
I don't know what to...
You're welcome to wear a wig of it if you'd like a Halloween costume.
Yeah.
This idiot from ItsObviousGaming.
What are you? Who's that?
Wigs. We could sell pencils. for back to school season.
Yeah.
IOG pencils.
Yeah.
It's like a white pencil with the logo and the eraser is red or something.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be so sick, man?
Yeah, man. Let's do that one. Let's stick with that.
Some pencils.
No shirts.
IOG pencils. It's settled. I'd love to hear everyone's funny merch ideas in the comments because I'm kind of blanking right now. It's been a long day for me.
Maybe, instead of that Spider-Man onesie I wore, just a onesie that looks like us.
Yeah. I think some of us have...
I don't know.
that look like us. A full-body nude onesie of Jacob that you can sleep in every night. I think all of us have had really stupid quotes that are not meant to be funny, but we just sound so dumb that all of us that would make funny quotes on t-shirts. Like Preston's social state drive quote could be really good on something.
Yeah.
It's just no explanation. It just says social state drive on it. I'm sure there's a million other things.
Speaking about those emotes, you need to make one of you doing that really weird face you did when you were tired when we were at the circular table.
Oh yeah, where I look like I'm drugged out.
Yeah, you looked hilarious.
That was the night we got back from the Devil Wears Prada show.
Oh yeah. I remember listening to that album on the way home, like the whole thing.
Yeah, we did the episode at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, I wasn't enjoying it because we had just listened to them in concert, like live, and I didn't want to listen to them again on the way home. I was just like, ugh.
It's on our Instagram. I will, if I can remember, I will post it on Discord.
All right.
I'm sure people get a kick out of it. It's pretty hilarious.
Well,
I guess we'll move on for now. If you guys have any hilarious merch ideas, we'd love to hear them. Carlos is back again. I had to catch up on Carlos's questions. They were pretty old. I apologize, Carlos. He says, if you can have one unique superpower, what would it be? As in, unique, like it can't be a superpower already made like Superman's power or Hulk's power, Flash's power, etc. Make up your own unique superpower, Jacob. It doesn't exist. It's hard because I feel like every superpower has been done.
It has. But this power is kind of a twist on something that already exists. It doesn't exist. It's make-believe. But I would, Garrett, make there be a way that I could magically make more hours in a day.
Okay. Just however many hours
That's my power.
Desire?
Yes.
I need that power.
I know. Everyone needs that power.
Yeah.
We never have enough time in the day.
No, it's terrible.
I wouldn't be able to, slow time or do anything with time. I would just have the ability to create more hours within a day. That's my power.
Okay.
What do you think?
I mean, it's very useful. It's very practical power.
I'm trying to think about everyone else. I don't just want to be like, oh, I want to have super strength and just take over the world.
Now, you could also use this to everyone's disadvantage. What if you're some asshole? It's like, oh, the days are going to be 62 hours long, so get used to it. And people are like, no, I need to sleep. I need the nighttime.
Or it could
like, no, F you.
Or 1 hour long.
You could be a super villain.
Yeah.
What would your name be?
Depends how I feel that day.
What would your name be?
I don't know. Hour Man. The hourglass.
The hourglass. I can't think of anything witty right now. I'm so tired.
I would be hour, but it'd be O-U-R.
Hourglass?
Hour. Just hour.
That's weird.
I know. Trying to think of something witty.
I would like this. I don't know if this already exists, but I really want the superpower of not needing to sleep. If I could just be awake constantly, I could get so many more things done.
All you gotta do is get bit by a vampire, Garrett.
And maybe not necessarily like I can't sleep, but never feel fatigued or tired. And to a point where it doesn't affect my health. So technically not sleeping. I never feel tired. I'm always fully energized. And I can just constantly go.
I got another one.
Okay.
Being able to eat whatever I want without any repercussions.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. And live a healthy life.
Yeah. You can eat 46 crystal burgers, or you can eat 100 Krispy Kreme donuts.
I wonder how long a human could live, like, as we are now, with taking care of their body to the utmost ability.
Like, you know everything you do.
Everything you do doesn't
perfect.
harm you. Yeah. Like, you are doing everything perfectly to live as long as you possibly could. I mean, of course, that would vary because no one person lives the same amount of time.
Right.
So, I don't know. Just be interesting to think about. Like, would we live maybe well over 100? Maybe a little bit over 100? I don't know.
Potentially. And then there's some people that have terrible health habits and they live to be over 100.
Well, hey.
It's rare, but it happens.
Yeah. And stick with me here. In the Destiny lore, in the Golden Age, this is before the game takes place. When the Traveler came, humans, their life expectancy greatly increased. So maybe we just need something like the Traveler to come.
Okay. Well, it's currently in possession of the Red Legion, so good luck with that.
I'm taking it back.
Yeah, good luck.
From Gary.
From Gary, that asshole. Hate that guy.
Yeah.
So change, or you add any hours in the day or dwindle them if you desire. Yeah. The ability to never have to sleep. That's my biggest one. What was the one we just discussed?
I don't even know.
Oh, yeah, to eat whatever you want. It doesn't affect your health.
Yeah.
Or hurt your health.
Or just like working out once and not having to do it again.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind being able to transform into, I was going to say any animal, but if you have transfiguration in Harry Potter, you can turn into any animal, I guess. Cool. I got nothing else, man. I think those are the most practical superpowers I can come up with that I don't think exist.
Even if you could just work out once and like be satisfied, I still do appreciate like working out sometimes. It's fun to like do hard work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, hard work
pays off.
Usually, not always.
Yeah, not always.
But hard work, I will say, is always gratifying. No matter what. I
enjoy getting a good sweat. Although I hate sweating when I don't want to. That is the worst.
How about the ability to never sweat again? You don't need to. You're fine.
That'd be cool.
Or an ability to always maintain your body temperature to change it according to the situation you're in.
That'd be awesome. I would be okay with that superpower.
Or the ability to change your physique at will. I feel like being the most jacked human being on Earth today. I feel like being 1,000 feet tall.
Yeah.
You can do that.
I guess.
Moving on.
Yes.
Get Some says, "Hey there, Master OGs. If you don't mind me asking, what is each of y'all's favorite Call of Duty Zombies version and why? What would be your all-time wish as an addition or map for a Zombies mode?"
Excuse me, Get Some. That is Sir Master OGs.
You don't have to call me sir.
You have to call me sir.
Jacob's a sir to me as well.
I am your sir.
Mr. Sir.
Mr. Sir, Mr.
Mr. Sir's a good character. From Holes.
Holes.
What's your favorite Zombies version? I know what mine is.
Black Ops 2.
Is that transit mode? That's transit mode.
That was one of them. Is he just talking about the original one that released, or? Because
I
like all the zombies in Black Ops 2.
And my favorite was transit mode from Black Ops 2.
Yeah. I remember us playing that, riding that bus, and
all of our buddies just hopping on that bus and going to and from each section.
I always got left behind, man. I would always be running. I always die from the...
Yeah, and you have to run through the streets and the tunnels, and those goblins come and jump on your head.
It was also kind of fun, too, just trying to stay alive.
Yeah. You have to melee the crap out of them. You barely survive getting back to the bus.
Mm-hmm.
That was easily
You have to do that between every location.
I mean, the classic. I love that. I mean, there's been great ones through all the games, but the one I've indulged in the most is transit mode from Black Ops 2.
I hope this new one's good.
Me too. It seems interesting. It seems more horrific than the past ones.
Right. The one in Infinite Warfare was pretty good. The Spaceland.
Oh, yeah, Spaceland was awesome.
I didn't play.
I never played Raven, the Redwoods, or the other ones, but I really enjoyed Spaceland.
I'm not sure if the last DLC is released yet, but I don't know what zombie is for that.
Neither do I.
It's been a long time since I haven't indulged in Call of Duty DLCs in a long time.
I don't know what was in Black Ops 3. What was in Black Ops 3? Was that the one where it was like the old-timey one where those like looked like it was in the 30s or something? You run around that little town.
I don't know.
I remember watching Zach and Evan play it a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Did it have Jeff Goldblum in it? Or am I thinking of a different version?
I don't know.
Can't recall.
I remember that one, though. I remember Evan and Zach playing it a lot.
I only played that one one time.
That one was fun. I wasn't very good, but I remember watching Ali A videos to learn how to get better.
Nice.
Ali is a good YouTuber.
Yes, I enjoy him. I haven't watched him in a long time, but I enjoyed his content in the past.
Yeah, I used to watch him all the time.
He's grown significantly, I believe, since the last time I saw him.
What do you mean?
And his subscriber base. He's a big boy now.
I think he's slowed down as of late because Call of Duty's not as prevalent anymore. He's branching out more.
I know he did a ton of Pokemon Go stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he got a ton of subscribers from that, but he has a second channel for that.
Oh, interesting.
But that's what's changed the subject.
Nice.
He has enough subscribers.
Yeah, he does.
Give us some.
He can grant us some if you'd like.
We like Call of Duty too.
Yeah. We just put out a Call of Duty Let's Play.
I like the intro of that video. It's good.
Which one?
The Call of Duty video.
Oh, it's funny. It's like we didn't even plan that. It's just it came to me in the moment. And I had to throw some dubstep in there, of course, because that's what all the big YouTubers do. At least the Call of Duty YouTubers.
It looked good.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I'm glad you approve. But get some transit mode for me. That it for you, Jacob?
Sure.
Cool. Kyle's back. Mr. Bojangles says, "Hey boys, I've been thinking of moving to Japan to teach English and just live there for a couple of years. If you get the chance to move to another country to live there and work for a couple of years, would you? If so, what would you want to do and where would you go?" Now, I know Kyle and I discussed this on a Doom stream not too long ago, and I think he's changed his mind a bit because it's a little complicated, I think, financially to go to and from Japan, if I'm not mistaken.
It is.
But I do think that sounds really cool if given the opportunity to do that. If anyone was able to go to any foreign country and teach, it would be awesome. What about you, Jacob? If you could move anywhere and do something, what would it be?
I don't want to move out of America, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to living in a foreign country for a short period of time.
Yeah, like, I'm not opposed to traveling and, visiting the world, but I like America.
No, I love the United States. I mean, I realize, like, politically and socially, we're kind of in shambles right now. Yeah. But the media, I think, really sends it into an uproar. In reality, it's not as crazy as it looks on the news.
It heightens the extreme.
Yeah, I mean, in daily life, it is not nearly as crazy as it seems on TV and the internet.
This place is still one of the best places to live. Has the most opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why wouldn't you want to live here?
God bless it.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not opposed to living in a foreign country. I mean, there are many gorgeous countries around the world. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, I want to see Japan, specifically Tokyo. I'd love to see most of China.
You wouldn't want to live there, though.
No. Mm.
I'm sure those places are great. Like, they're very nice and everything, but I don't want to be somewhere where I can't communicate with everyone.
Yeah,
that's my biggest thing.
I don't know. I mean, I think the most I'd be willing to live out of the country. I mean, it depends on where it is ultimately, but probably 6 months to a year, mostly. I mean, I have no reason to move anywhere.
Yeah.
So if I had a good reason, sure, I wouldn't be totally opposed to it.
Yeah. Like,
if the video game thing I'm doing, they're like, "Hey, we need you to move to Australia for 6 months and work there." I'd be like, "Sure." If I were making money, I would not be opposed to that because, of course, I want to see Australia as well.
But that's a dangerous place, Garrett.
A lot of deadly creatures there. Yeah. So it's a risk. Everyone takes their own risk.
I feel like that's the biggest stereotype about Australia. I'm sure it's not that bad.
I don't know. There's some Australians that tune into this podcast. If you can confirm if you encounter deadly creatures every day of your life, please let us know.
Yeah, send us some pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I would do in these foreign countries.
Yeah, I don't know.
If I was extremely wealthy and I had everything I would ever need, I would move to like London or something and work in a pub for like a month just for fun. Yeah, why not? I'm sure it's way more complicated. Just, I'm going to go to this foreign country and work. I know there's like visas and crap you have to deal with. And
it'd be cool to see the
work permits.
The pub scene in somewhere like Germany or something.
Yeah, just like move somewhere and just do something small for a few months just because you can. Just to get that life experience in a foreign culture and everything.
One day we should go to Europe and go to a pub.
I would love that.
We should.
I'd love for you and I to share a pint at a European pub of some sort.
I'd love that.
They have pints? I'm getting one. It's Pippin, right? It's Pippin. Perry comes back with Pippin, a pint.
One of them, yeah.
And Pippin goes to get a pint as well.
That's in the first one, correct?
Yeah, Fellowship of the Ring. When they encounter, he goes by Strider initially, but Aragorn in the corner.
Strider.
Yeah.
When that, what are those things called again?
The Ring Wraiths?
Yeah, the Wraiths.
They're horrifying.
Yes.
Still, that screech is forever embedded into my mind. It's iconic, I consider.
It's great.
Yeah, I can't think of anything specific I would do, but again, if I had the money and the time, I would totally move somewhere foreign and just, what's the word I'm looking for? Consume the culture and really get to know it.
Embrace it.
Embrace it, exactly.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. Sam Harris says, I know I have a lot of the same people repeated in this podcast, but it's
way to go, man.
I'm playing catch up, and a lot of the other questions are video game themed that I've yet to implement into the main It's Obvious podcast. So if you haven't heard your question yet, don't think it's because I'm intentionally avoiding you. I've saved them for better times that will fit into the other podcasts, so you're not being left behind, just so you know. But Sam Harris says, hey amigos, what is your favorite movie soundtrack? My top 3 are both Guardians of the Galaxy soundtracks and Top Gun.
You want to go first on this one?
Sure. Soundtracks. I mean, I'm more of a score guy. I mean, soundtracks, are really just a combination of different bands thrown together. So arguably, you could say you just enjoy those songs by different bands. Well, of course, those soundtracks make up certain movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, especially the first movie has an awesome soundtrack. The second one's good too, but I really love the first one.
The theme in that song is fantastic.
And like you said, Top Gun's awesome.
Oh.
Playing with the boys.
It's a great song.
Jacob and I actually have a music video of that song.
We did.
That I'm reluctant to share with everyone else because it is...
Oh, it's great.
It's pretty weird. It's from our high school days.
We should share it.
Yeah, they had at our church youth group, they had a VMAs every year where the small groups, 9th through 12th grade, there'd be guys groups and girls groups, and everyone would come together with their group and make a music video covering a song of anything you want. I mean, it had to be appropriate for church, obviously, but ours were always on the edge of being inappropriate.
Yeah.
Very erotic, to say the least. And I think in that video, I'm actually wearing a dress from Goodwill.
You are. I'm wearing short shorts.
Yeah. It's a sight to behold.
Yeah. And I don't think we ever released them in time.
No, yeah. Both our videos we released them too late and they never debuted. But they debuted on the internet, of course, but not at the actual VMAs. So we never won. Yeah.
So your top 3.
Top 3.
Soundtracks or scores of all time.
From movies. I'm going to go with scores for now.
Okay.
I love the score from Spider-Man.
The
Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Okay.
The opening theme to Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man 1 through 3 has the same theme, but that opening theme is so awesome.
So are these in any particular order?
No, not necessarily. Okay. I love the Spider-Man score. I mean, a lot of Hans Zimmer stuff is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Can't go wrong with Dark Knight. He's done so many. Interstellar's pretty good. Inception's pretty solid. Did he do Pirates or was that John Williams? That was John Williams, I think.
I think you're right. Because that's one of mine.
Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean is so good.
So awesome.
I love it.
The whole soundtrack is great. That's one of my top 3.
This is a weird story. I went through this phase through high school mostly where this is before I had music on my phone or not. I had it on an iPod, but I think back in the day you could only listen to an iPod with headphones. So at night, I would have my CD player play very quietly while I went to sleep, and I would go through phases where I'd listen to a single CD when I went to sleep every night for months. Like I'd listen to a CD on repeat every night for like 6 months at a time. Well, for some reason, I eventually came around to listening to the Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men, or what's the second one called? Something with a chest.
It's Dead Man's
Chest? No, that's Dead Men Tell No Tales is the new one, which I haven't seen.
You sure?
Dead Man's Chest? Is it called Dead Man's Chest?
I think you're right.
I can't remember all this stuff.
I only remember Black Pearl and At World's End.
Yeah. Dead Man's Chest. Dead Man's Chest. You looking it up?
Yeah.
I have to know now. What's it called? Davy Jones is in it, of course.
Is he? Oh, yeah. He's in the second and third one.
He's like the overarching villain in the second and third one. Dead Man's Chest?
Yeah.
It's called Dead Man's Chest?
Yeah.
Let me see. Dead Man's Chest, not Dead Men's Chest.
I thought that's what you were saying.
Dead Man's Chest, yeah. Okay. Well, I listened to that soundtrack on repeat for about a year. I have no idea why, but Pirates of the Caribbean music is awesome.
I would argue that this is the worst one. Oh, out of their first 3. I know a lot of people don't like At World's End, but that's probably it's one of my favorites. It's up there with Black Pearl.
Nice.
Because I loved how epic like the ending was. I loved that whole fight.
Yeah.
I loved it so much that it was the first video that I ever purchased on iTunes.
Interesting.
Like a movie.
Nice.
I think it's the only one I ever did too.
Nice.
I would always watch it on my my iPod video.
From what I remember, those visual effects still hold up today. I haven't seen it in a long time, but at the time I remember being blown away at how good it looked.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong with any of the Star Wars soundtracks.
Oh yeah,
Scores,
I didn't even
should
think
say.
about Star Wars. I can't believe it.
There's so many. It's just so many circulating in my mind right now.
I thought you would have thought of that.
I could have prepped beforehand, but I've been so busy today I didn't have time.
Gotcha. You want to hear a few of mine?
Yeah.
The Harry Potter soundtrack.
Oh, of course.
My God.
Yeah.
It's every song.
That's also John Williams.
Is it? I did not know that. Tron Legacy.
I think we got to look it up. Did Hans Zimmer do Pirates? I think it might have been Hans Zimmer. I want to say it's John Williams, but it might be Hans Zimmer.
Tron Legacy. Daft Punk.
That's a great one.
I'm a big Daft Punk fan, and I love that movie too. So
I love the first 30 seconds of all of Daft Punk songs. I think we've discussed this because all their songs just repeat the same thing over and over and over and over again. Great club music because it's kind of on in the background. And you don't really notice it, but when you really listen to their music, just in your car or something, it's just you hear the same thing over and over and over again. Not hating, it's just something I've noticed.
Don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
Those sounds don't please you?
I like The Prodigy. They're a cool electronic band.
All right, dude.
I like Glitch Mob.
They're not better than Daft Punk.
If you say so.
Daft Punk is the
Their songs have a bit more variation than Daft Punk.
Daft Punk are the legends of electronic music.
I think they're the most famous because they have the coolest name.
I don't think so.
And arguably the coolest logo. Of course, Glitch Mob is a cool name too.
What am I looking up again? John Williams?
No, just Pirates of the Caribbean score composer.
It is indeed Hans Zimmer.
Oh, I had a feeling it might be.
I did not know he did Pirates.
Yeah. I was getting those two mixed up.
He's done a ton of movies, man.
He has.
He's gotten around.
He also did Man of Steel, which I also love that score.
Didn't know that either.
I think he claimed Batman v Superman was, at least at the time, was the last superhero score he was ever going to do.
He's done quite a few.
I hear the Dunkirk score is really creative and awesome. I just haven't seen the movie yet.
Either.
Which is depressing because I think it's out of theaters now, and I will have not been able to see it in IMAX like I wanted to do.
Bummer, dude.
Yep, didn't get to see it. It's a shame. I'm sure I'll still enjoy it at home, but I heard it's very much a theater experience when you see it.
I can't remember the last time I saw a movie in theaters. It's been a while.
It's been a while for me too. I'm going to go see It in a couple of weeks. We got to go see It. You going to go see The Killer Clown with me?
Probably not.
You should, man. I heard it's awesome.
I'm sure it is. I've heard reviews are pretty good.
Yeah, they haven't been like full-on reviews yet, but everyone's initial impressions have been very positive.
Yeah. Just not my kind of movie.
I told you I had that weird dream about the It Clown a couple nights ago, so it's bizarre.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't get you.
No, I hope not either. It's weird because I'm not afraid of him.
I hope it doesn't get you.
Yeah, but the dream for some reason freaked me out. It wasn't even necessarily the clown aspect. Like I mentioned, it's the demonic side of the clown that freaks me out.
I said Pirates of the Caribbean and it was my number 3, but it's debatable. I also like Lion King. Shout out to Lion King. The Dark Knight, and also Frozen. Frozen,
huh?
Yeah. I'm a sucker for good Disney soundtracks.
Yeah, good call on Lion King for sure. Shout out to Napoleon Dynamite soundtrack.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I'm trying to recall all the songs in that.
I think most of them are original in that movie, if I'm not mistaken, and a lot of different styles.
What's the song they play at the Homecoming or prom, whatever they?
Yeah, that is what's that artist's name? I will find you time after time. That song. Yeah. Can't remember the
do they play Forever Young in that movie too? Or am I thinking of something else?
I want to be forever young. I think that's the same song. That's in that movie, I think.
Yeah, I thought that was in that movie.
I think that's the dance where Napoleon's like, I like your sleeves, they're real big.
Thanks.
I made them myself.
Well,
that's all I got for now.
Okay.
Everyone share your top movie soundtracks.
Yes.
Maybe some I've never heard of. I mean, there's a billion that I could name, but those are the ones that stick out in my mind. Dustifiable has a similar question. He says, hey guys, I beat Persona 5 earlier this week. You guys need to finish it. Spoiler alert, you and Preston have finished it.
Yeah, dude, come on.
I have not finished it, but I'm aware of the amazing soundtrack. He says the soundtrack... Maybe
this is an old question, though.
It is old, definitely. He says, and the amazing soundtrack made me wonder, what is your favorite video game soundtrack? Now, before we continue, we have done an entire episode dedicated to this subject. I can't remember which episode it is, but it's called like our favorite gaming soundtracks or something. Best music in video games. I think that's the title. It's like the best music in video games. And we go in depth in all kinds of stuff. But to answer it again, my top 2 favorite game soundtracks are Doom 2016 currently by Mick Gordon and Prince of Persia: Warrior Within by Stuart Chatwood. Both very metal themed. Of course, I'm a metal fan, so of course I love those soundtracks. But I think especially in Doom, that music so perfectly complements the gameplay. That's why I'm such a big fan.
That's so metal.
It is pretty metal, for sure. Mick Gordon, by the way, did the opening song to the Lawbreaker soundtrack, the very metal-themed Lawbreakers tune. A bunch of different artists contributed to that soundtrack. Another great one. You guys should check it out. Just search Lawbreakers on iTunes or YouTube. A lot of good songs.
I shouldn't have bought that game. I played it once.
Right.
Once.
I still have it, but I don't feel, I hate to say this, I really enjoy it. I just don't feel compelled to go back and play it currently.
What's the point of going to play it? I feel like no one's playing it. That's a big thing for me. When I feel like no one's playing a game, I don't feel compelled to go play it either.
It isn't that for me. I don't
think I'm alone in that either.
I've also been very busy as of late, and I know we've been transitioning into our PC streams and everything, and I mean, PUBG kind of took over our streams for now. But
it might also be a case that I just want to play Overwatch right now.
I've been too busy to hardly play games at all. So, and of course, I'm solely focused on Destiny 2 right now that I can't really squeeze in any Lawbreakers.
Right, yeah. I don't see myself playing it anytime in the future.
Good soundtrack, though.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
What's mine? What's my number one?
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also something that recently that came out that I really liked was Persona 5.
It's amazing. That's
really great.
To me, currently, it's the best gaming soundtrack of the year.
Yeah, I don't think anything comes close.
I've heard Nier's music is gorgeous.
I haven't played.
And I know a lot of people love Zelda as well. And shout out to Horizon. I don't think it's up there with Persona, but Horizon has a very emotionally driven soundtrack.
I'd agree with that.
It definitely struck a chord with me, especially in the end. That main Aloy theme with the female vocalist is very emotional to me.
I've heard that... I haven't played it, but Sonic Mania is really good. Their soundtrack, yeah.
Cool.
So, I might give it a try here pretty soon. If I'm traveling, have my Switch, need something to play.
Nice.
Sonic Mania might be good.
I'm hoping to pick up Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle before I go out of town.
Is it out yet? Did it release?
I think it came out today. Yeah.
Well, not when this
as
releases,
of Tuesday. Yeah. A week. Basically a week ago.
That'd be something good for you to pick up for your flights.
Exactly. It's reviewed quite well, so I want to experience it for myself.
You'll have to let us know how it is.
Absolutely. I hope I can even afford it. I'm going to try to trade in what little I have to trade in and see if I can afford it.
How much is it?
I think it's $60.
$60 for that game? That's a ripoff.
Why is it a ripoff?
Because that game sucks.
Why do you say that?
I hate the rabbits, dude.
Well, actually, it's funny you say that. I hear the rabbits steal the show a lot of the time.
Oh my god!
I mean, maybe it's a particular audience that really appreciates them. I'm not necessarily one of them. I'm more of a Mario man myself. But
honestly, I just don't want to play like that kind of game. I've never been into them, really.
Oh, see, what got me into that type of game is XCOM 2 specifically, which I've yet to finish, but I played about half of it, and I really, really got into that for a while.
I take that back. I used to play these I don't know what they were, but I would download these games off the internet, and they would be those kind of games. But I don't remember what they were called. They were fantasy themed. They weren't very popular games either. They were literally go to this website, you download this. Like my uncle showed them to me, but unfortunately I don't recall what they were. But it would be you moved spaces and try and trap your enemy, and then you attack them and stuff. But it was army based, fantasy style. I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't be more specific, but
that's fine.
That's my only history with those kind of games.
Okay. I mean, you give me anything.
I might like them if I gave them a try, but I just haven't.
You should try with Mario. You have a Switch, and you like Mario, don't you? I mean, you give me anything Mario themed, I will at least give it a try.
I would be more willing to try something like XCOM, probably.
Over Mario?
Yeah.
Wow, because Mario, I mean, it's very much, I've heard it appears to be kiddie, but it is very tactical and fast-paced, and it's a little more intense than you'd expect it to be. So I feel like in a lot of ways it'd be a great introduction. It's a franchise you're familiar with. Gameplay you're unfamiliar with for the most part, but it's kind of like an easing into that genre.
You play it, you let me know how it is.
Do you trust my opinion?
Yeah.
Because I know you and I have more, I feel like the three, that's what, I hope no one hates this, but you, me, and Preston have very similar taste in video games.
No, with these kind of games, I don't.
That's true. I mean, I'm not going to try to convince you, but I mean, I'll probably enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that'll change your opinion on it. Or maybe once I play it, maybe I'll just let you borrow it and see if you like it.
Yeah.
How about that?
I feel like my opinions sometimes differ from you two.
Yeah, for the most part.
But we do like.
You're the one that brings
games.
the dynamic conversation, which I appreciate.
Really?
For the most part, me and Preston agree on everything.
You guys do agree on everything.
That's probably why we're best friends.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Moving on to our last question, Jacob. Daniel Freeman says, the big finale. What is your favorite silent protagonist of all time? Now, you may be thinking Link right off the bat, and that's totally fine. An honorable, if not unoriginal choice. But I don't really have room to talk since I have to give my title to Mr. Gordon Freeman. I, however, encourage you to think about some others. You could choose Isaac from the first Dead Space, Samus, Jack from Bioshock. How about Mario? Even your main characters from Dark Souls games or World of Warcraft. Let's hear about them. Well, he named one of mine, Isaac from Dead Space, before he began to speak. I think he began to speak in the sequel. I preferred him as a silent protagonist. Now, I haven't played the sequel, but that's what I loved about Isaac, is that you could only hear his screams and heavy breathing throughout the horrific experience that is Dead Space 1. That's up there for me. Jack's a solid choice. I mean, he named a lot of good ones. Jack from Bioshock is awesome. You got anything on the top of your head?
My avatar and WoW, like you mentioned. I've accomplished a lot of feats, if I do say so myself. I slayed Illidan in a timeline. That
Illidan, huh?
Yeah, have you ever seen Illidan?
I haven't.
He's one of the coolest looking bad guys. Well, I guess he's not really a bad guy. Because what happened was in Legion, we went back in time, I think. Oh god, I don't know. But he's back in Legion. But we killed him in Burning Crusade, which is the second expansion in WoW. Anyways, I slayed him in... Oh, forgive me, I'm forgetting the name of the next expansion. It was... something in... Oh god, Garrett, what's it called?
I have no idea.
I should know this.
Mists of Pandaria?
No, that was the fourth one.
I always remember that one. Burning Crusade?
No, that was the one before. That was the one I was just talking about.
Okay.
It's the one in the snowy place.
I have no idea. I only know Burning Crusade and
dude.
Pandaria.
Well, anyways, I slayed Arthas, the Death Knight. I gotta look it up and see what it is, dude.
Sometimes I think the silent protagonist in Destiny that you play as is just kind of awkward.
That's another one for me. Is
like in the beta, for example, people have played this when Dominus Gaul kicks you across the top of his ship and your ghost flies off and your protagonist just like reaches out and says nothing.
Yeah.
And the guy's like talking to you and you're basically a mime the whole time.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of just silent protagonists in general.
It's more awkward in Destiny to me. I realize that it's kind of hard to do that because you're more. It's a vessel for you. I mean, you're really the one, and you could arguably just create your own lines for your character.
Wrath of the Lich King.
That's what it was.
And the Lich King is who I slayed. Then the next expansion, I slayed Deathwing. I think his name's Deathwing. The evil dragon.
Sounds like a lame supervillain, Deathwing. Yeah, I'm gonna go by Deathwing.
It took my raid group so long to kill Deathwing, but it was so satisfying when we did it. It was a very dynamic fight. He had to like hop between platforms and stuff, and he was like a giant head sticking out of a lava pit.
Interesting.
Awesome.
And an MMO.
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
You should like look up some of the in raid fights because you would be like kind of. I think you would enjoy them.
Okay.
There's a lot of cool stuff that happened in that game. But yeah, I've been on a lot of great journeys in WoW.
Nice.
That's basically my story.
Cool. That's your favorite silent protagonist then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm having trouble thinking of any that I've played.
Just speaking of the Destiny guy, there's countless times where the characters are talking to you in cutscenes and you just kind of stand there and say nothing.
I don't have time to explain. I don't have time.
Like, this is one of our best guardians.
Yeah, they always just talk to your ghost.
Yeah. It's one of our best guardians, but he never says anything. He's a total weirdo. Yeah. He's only a killing machine.
I like when games acknowledge that. I played something recently that acknowledged that you never speak. I'm forgetting what it is, though.
Doom 2016's Doomslayer never speaks. He's a badass. Enjoy that one.
What have I played recently, Garrett?
I wasn't totally opposed to my character speaking in Fallout 4, but I've always enjoyed the silent protagonist that you play as in Elder Scrolls and Fallout prior to Fallout 4. It's probably a trend they'll continue going forward, which I don't hate, but I also really enjoy the silent protagonist aspect of the previous games.
Sure. I guess you could say Link.
You guys can probably guess what I'm doing for inspiration right now.
Link never says anything, does he?
Yeah, he says Link is an honorable but unoriginal choice, Jacob.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to name some that are.
He named most of the ones I like. Jack from Bioshock, Isaac from Dead Space, and for me recently, Doomslayer. I like characters who don't speak much at all, but do speak, like Altair from Assassin's Creed 1. I think is totally badass. Has very little to say. To counteract that, what's one of your characters that speaks a lot? That's one of your favorites, just before we end here. I mean, that's very broad. It could be like your favorite video game character.
Yeah, like
Nathan Drake has a lot to say, a lot of quips. I like him.
He's very clever guy.
Yeah, I'm not going to think about that too hard. My mind will melt at this point. Yeah, but Jacob, that brings us to the conclusion of the Ask IOG / ItsObviousGaming podcast crossover.
Garrett, that was incredible.
Yeah, it was a pretty wild ride. And to all of you who contributed to this episode and all of you who have sent us questions and have yet to hear your question on either show, do not fret. I promise you we're getting to them. We're still playing catch up. A lot of them are still old, but still relevant in some ways, which we can still include them. And they're going to either be used on the It's Obvious podcast or on this show, Ask IOG, which unfortunately is still exclusive to YouTube. But we may, even though we haven't been able to hit that weekly quota quite yet because we've been so busy, especially recently with all the traveling I've been doing and everything, it's been near impossible. And I know Preston's had that weird schedule for months with work. Yeah. But we may, if we can pull it off, just go ahead and try to put it on podcasting services. It wouldn't be weekly, but at least it would be out there for you guys to access much easier. So I'm going to, depending on how the next month goes, we may just go ahead and bite the bullet on that one and submit it to podcasting services. But aside from that, again, thank you to all of you who continue to send us questions every week. And if you haven't sent us questions before and you would like to do so, I'm sure you hear this every episode if you've been listening for a while, but you can send them to us in one of three places. You can email us at itsobviousgaming@gmail.com. You can send them to us on Twitter at @obvious_gaming using the hashtag AskIOG, or submit them to the Ask IOG section on our Discord channel, which we also invite you to if you've yet to join us. We'd love to hear from you and to share all your thoughts from whether it be your daily life or your gaming experiences. It's always a good time on Discord. And whenever you submit your questions, if you want it read on the show, always include the hashtag AskIOG so that we know we can share it publicly with the world. But if you just want to have a casual conversation, you're more than welcome to email us or tweet at us or Facebook message us. Wherever it may be, we're always up for conversation as well, even if it isn't public. So
the cool people refer to it as Ask IOG.
Ask IOG, yes, correct. This is the IOG podcast.
Yes.
I'm
part of the exclusive club.
Right. Am I invited?
You don't say it very much, so.
All right.
I feel like you have to earn your spot.
Jacob, before we head on out, do you have any plans in the next hour? To do with your life?
I'm going to go home and play Destiny 2.
Is that all you have on your mind? Yeah. You're going to do anything else?
No, I got tomorrow off.
Okay. You weren't going to go get food or anything?
I'll go with you, but I don't know if I'm really hungry. I ate a couple hours ago.
I kind of just want to freeze. My throat's a little sore after all this talking. I'd like to soothe it with a freeze.
Let's do it.
I love that, Jacob. You made me so happy by saying that. It's weird to think that this episode isn't coming out for another week. We just did.
Yeah,
we
just finished. It's crazy.
It's kind of strange. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Seriously, we can't thank you guys enough for the continued support. And
this has been one of the funner ones that I think we've done. I think.
Cool. I'm glad you approved, Jacob. I hope everyone else does as well. And I know we see this practically every week, but not this in depth. I just do want to thank you all for your continued support of It's Obvious Gaming. It's been incredibly surreal and very humbling since we've gained all your support. I mean, of course, it slowly continues to grow, but all of you have been supporting us even when we were teeny tiny. We remember those days where we were receiving no comments, no messages, no interaction on any of our YouTube videos. And to see it all grow to even just the point we're at currently has been incredibly humbling. And we're eternally grateful for all of you guys. And I know I don't want anyone to ever think it's all about our growth and that's the only reason we're thankful for you guys. It's not about that at all. I mean, just getting to know you all personally, whether it be on Discord or YouTube, or just having conversations about all the things we share that we love mutually, our differing personalities all combining into this smorgasbord of creativity and support for everyone in the community is just so awesome, and I can't thank you guys enough. And the reason why I'm thanking you especially now is that working in media, and I'm sure a lot of you realize this, but interaction on media content is always so dark and negative no matter what. Usually it's always so negative and just a vile place, especially IGN comments, but it's not so different with COG Connected. I mean, there are some supportive people in their community or in their YouTube comments, but more often than not, people are very nasty in the comments. I'm always saddened to see that, because if you see the comparison, it's so funny. If I took a screenshot, the comments on the Call of Duty video I did for COG, everyone's just like, F this game, it's a piece of shit. Everything's wrong with it, just all negativity. And then you come over to our comments, people are like, wow, this actually looks kind of cool. And people are like, hey, great video, guys. But on that one, dude, it's like direct opposite. Just the difference between like, I wouldn't consider us influencers, but we're in that realm. It's something we're working towards, like an influencer channel versus a media channel. It's just like two different worlds entirely. And I try to be very supportive and responsive to those people, so we kind of like dial it down a bit. And like, I feel like if you respond with a kind comment, more often than not, people will cool down a bit. Yeah. But
so earlier I mentioned, I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's fine. I do that all the time. Speaking about Discord, I earlier I said that I read all of the posts, and I really do. I read every single one. And it's funny because it's kind of become part of my ritual every time I check my phone. Like I go in this order. I go Facebook to knock out all the bullshit in the beginning. Then I go to Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, which takes up a long time.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time on Twitter.
Like, especially if I'm backed up all day, I read every single post on Twitter too. Like, I like going to the bottom of the page and pressing show more and starting at the very bottom from where I left off earlier. I go all the way up. But after I finally get done with that, then I go to Discord. That's it. Yeah, Discord. I thought I had the name wrong. I saved that for last because it's what I enjoy most, actually. So you guys really do bring us happiness, and you know, it's cool that people watch us do these videos, and you know, and it's creating conversation amongst everyone else, or even, you know, creating friendships or just giving you someone to play with.
Absolutely.
So
it's been truly an honor.
That was my little spew.
That's great, Jacob. I spend the most time on Instagram. If you're a fan of Instagram, I'd love to follow you. If you're willing to follow me, that'd be great. We could follow each other.
Yeah, I need to follow more people on Instagram because I always run out of things too quickly.
Yeah, if you guys haven't followed me on Instagram yet, I am simply at Garrett Drake. That's 2 R's and 2 T's. And if you see a douchey picture that's black and white when I still had my long hair, that's me. Yeah, and if you follow me, I'd love to follow you back. I just like pictures.
Yes.
I like editing pictures. I like taking pictures. I never consider myself a photographer. I have no interest in being one, but I really enjoy taking pictures.
I know you do.
So that'd be cool.
What would be cool?
To follow each other on Instagram.
Oh.
Because I like seeing people's pictures. I know we share a lot of pictures on Discord too, but Instagram is
that's what it's made for.
Also an app that exists for pictures.
Indeed.
If you haven't heard of it. So, but again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on episode 117 of the It's Obvious podcast, doubling as episode 5 of Ask IOG. It was a blast, Jacob. Thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to join me.
Of course, man.
I'm sad Preston couldn't be here.
Me too.
Hopefully he bounces back soon.
Next time you will hear from us on this show, it will be when Destiny 2 is out.
It is. That's correct.
And I will have many thoughts.
I'm sure you will.
I'm so excited to talk about it.
Right.
I'll probably be talking for like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine I'll have done most things in the game at that point. So
that's great. I look forward to hearing your thoughts, Jacob, and see how they compare to my own.
I look forward to hearing yours as well.
Awesome. Well, Jacob, that's going to do it. Everyone, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I hope if you've heard Ask IOG for the first time via Spotify or iTunes, feel free to subscribe on YouTube, hang out here, and maybe the show will be on iTunes and Spotify in the near future. We'll see.
Maybe. Happy Destiny 2 week, everyone.
Yes, absolutely. Enjoy your time in space. Oh, yeah, and join the It's Obvious Gaming clan if you haven't already, also known as the Space Boys.
Oh, yeah, and also...
Just a few more things. Okay, everyone. Goodbye.
Have a good day.